And good everyone, welcome back to another playthrough of Steins Gate Zero, live and exclusive here to YouTube. I'm your host Swishbone for the remainder of the evening. For those of you who've never seen this channel before, we like to play live Let's Plays here, doing live reactions, bad jokes and banter in the chat box, which is open as we speak. So if you want to get your comments in there, I'll do what I can to interact with you all and help build this wonderful little community we got going here. For those of you who've been here before, whether you were watching the previous parts to Steins Gate Zero, perhaps you were watching the OG Steins Gate, maybe you have a Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, all the Persona games, all the Danganronpa games, and many, many more, a huge welcome back, because without you guys, there is no channel. It's as simple as that. So, we're going to pick things up right where we left off. We were in the middle of a situation where we'd just potentially crossed world lines and come back again. Here we are in Atomic Duel. On the stream, meanwhile, Ava jumping in saying, made it, dull-eyed and flat-tailed at having to work today. Ooh, we got 2.5 days of work this week. I won't be that guy. I'm not back till next week. Don't hate me, please. How are you doing anyway? You enjoying yourself?
いいか、おめえの頼みを聞いてやるわけじゃねえ。それだけは忘れるんじゃねえぞ。
Listen, I'm not doing it because you asked me to. Just don't forget that.
感謝します。
Thank you. This morning, I'd gone to Tennoji and asked him to protect Kagari if something happened. That meant I had to talk to him about his role as a rounder again. And I had to tell him that Kagari was caught up in something big too. But since this was the second time I had had that conversation, I was able to make it go a little smoother. That was only relative to the first time though. I never wanted to ask him for anything like this ever again.
おい、岡部、おめえら一体何に関わってやがる？
So, Okabe, what the hell are you people involved in?
それは
I stumped myself.
話せねえってか。頼み事するだけして随分と虫のいい話だな。
You can't say, huh? You'll ask me for a favor, but you won't say anything. Can understand Tennoji's point here, but at the same time, if he is around here, you can understand why Okabe doesn't want to say anything. Where's that information going to go to bad around us? You can't trust him, can he? Meanwhile, you say that the plus is that it's not busy so far this week. I'll touch plenty of wood for you. And therefore, if you're having to normally do the headless chicken dance here, you can be a little smoother, which is always awesome. My last day in the office was back-to-back meetings, so I'm glad that I've got some time off. I need it.
すみません。
I'm sorry.
だがそれでいい。
That's good, though.
え？
What?
情報ってのは最後の切り札だ。そこでペラペラ喋っちまうようなら、俺は降りてたぜ。
Information is your final trump card. If you just come out and told me, I would have called this whole thing off.
ま、せいぜい気をつけるんだな。
Anyway, just be careful.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you, sir.
わかったから、そうやってかしこまんな。どうにもやりにくくてしょうがねえ。
I get it. Don't be so polite. That makes it so damn hard to deal with you. Apologies, the air's rather dry in here because I had to have the heater on and it's dried the air out a bit, so I've got my water down there. I'm hopefully going to be getting through as best I can. You say you hate work meetings, Avian, because usually the first you yawn and then you get teased. I don't think I've been caught yawning in a meeting yet, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, mind. I bowed to him once more anyway, and left the Brawn workshop. I'd managed to get Tennoji's help. And this morning, I got another person on my side as well. Kiryu Moeka. She was a lot easier than Tennoji. I checked with Daru last night and found that just like in the old world line, we'd hired her to find out more information on Kagari. All I had to do was ask her to keep looking into what Kagari had been doing before she'd come to this town. Now I'd done everything I could in case something happened. All that was left was to pray that nothing did. I got back to the lab where Lukaku was waiting. He had a very serious look on his face, and he said he needed to talk to me. I mean, is that really the definition of serious from Lukaku? Haven't we seen that posture multiple times before? And again, I'm still puzzled as to how they've made Lukaku look so effeminate in this game. It's great for his character, don't get me wrong, it's just like, how? How do you pull that off? Anytime I cosplay the likes of Amy or Chika Takami or anyone like that, I don't look anywhere near as effeminate as that. Not helped by the beard, to be fair. Maybe I should shave that next time.
実はかがりさんの記憶のことで気になることがあって。
There's something bothering me about Kagari's memories.
かがりの
Kagari's memories?
とは言ってもこれが記憶を取り戻すことにつながるかどうかはわからないんですけど。
Yeah, but I don't know if it will help bring them back.
構わない。気になることがあるなら話してくれ。
That's fine. If something's bothering you, just tell me.
はい。
Okay. Lucas started to fidget and rub his knees together. Then he looked up at me and slowly opened his mouth.
ゆうべテレビで記憶の研究についての特集をやっていて、アメリカの大学で行われているものだったんですけど。
Last night, they were doing a special on memory research on TV. It was about an American university. Which Kagari knew, having never gone there, meaning she has a memory of it and doesn't know how. Assuming that's where she was programmed on, that's the way the story seems to be leading us towards.
それを見ていたかがりさんがまるでその学校を知っているような口ぶりだったんです。
When Kagari saw it, she acted like she recognized the school.
アメリカの大学？どこの大学だ？
An American university? Which one?
なんだか難しい名前の学校で、確かビクトル・コントル？
It had a really complicated name. I think it was Victor Condor?
ビクトル・コンドリア大学か？
Victor Condria University.
あ、そうです。その学校です。
Oh, that's right. That's the place. Victor Condria University. That was where Makise had studied. Kagari knew Victor Condria? If that was true, then how? The most obvious possibility was that she went there too. But how would a kid who went missing in Japan go to an American school? And one of the best at that. Of course, it wasn't impossible, but...
どうでしょう。何か手がかりになりそうでしょうか。
What do you think? Is this a clue?
さすがにそれだけじゃ何とも言えないが。
I can't say anything just based off of that, but...
そうですか。
I see. Game, seriously, stop it. Stop doing this. Remember, he's definitely a dude. Looking at that avatar, you wouldn't bloody think so, though. Lukaku's shoulders slumped in disappointment.
でも手がかりにならないというわけじゃない。
But that doesn't mean that it's not a clue.
それじゃあ。
What? Then...
ああ、確かめてみる必要はあるな。
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
改まってお話って何かな？
What did you want to talk to me about? Slight segue, by the way, people. The rumoured PlayStation Plus titles for January have been confirmed, and that French website is correct. On PS Plus next month, you can get Persona 5 Strikers, Dirt 5, and another game that I can't remember the name of, which is like a really popular multi-platform first-person mining shooting game. Persona 5 Strikers for free on PS Plus next month from the 4th of January. So if you've got a PS Plus subscription, download it. It's brilliant. I'm going to download it because I want the trophies again. I don't have to double dip for trophies. The best way to find out was to talk to her directly. Kagari was just about to start work, and she seemed put off by the fact that I'd suddenly asked to speak to her.
話はちょっと待ってくれるか。もう一人呼んであるんだ。
Can you wait just a second? I've asked another person to join us.
もう一人？
Another person? I didn't know a lot about Victor Condria myself. I could ask Kagari what she knew about the school, but I couldn't tell if her information was accurate or not. There was a better person she could ask. Someone who should be here any minute. Yep, it was obvious that it was going to bring her back to the gate. Here comes Maho.
お邪魔します。
Excuse me.
The best way to find out about the school was to ask someone who actually went there. In fact, Maho was to this day a part of their brain science lab.
あ、真帆さん、こんにちは。
Oh, Maho. Hello.
はい、元気？
Hi, how have you been?
Maho still didn't know that Kagari was from the future. I'd had to keep her from finding out.
それにしても、本当にクリスに似てるわよね。
You know, she really does look like Makise.
Maho stared at Kagari, then whispered so that only I could hear. It made sense. I'd been surprised myself. Yeah, very surprising guess. I started by explaining to Maho why I'd brought her here.
じゃあ何？つまり彼女がうちの学校にいたかもしれないっていうの？
So, what? You think she might have gone to my school?
ちょっと待って、そんなこと言われても私、そのなんとかトルコドリア大学なんて知らないよ。
Wait a second. I don't know anything about this Victor Condra what's its place.
ビクトル・コンドリア大学。
Mitochondria University.
ほらね、名前だってちゃんと覚えてないんだもん。
See, I didn't even remember the name.
でも昨日は知っている様子だったんだろルカ子。
But yesterday you acted like you recognized it. Right, Lukako.
はい、奥にある部屋でネズミさんを使った実験を行っているって。
Yeah. You said they did mice experiments in the back room.
そしたらその後本当にその部屋での実験の様子が映って。
And then after that, they actually showed the experiments in that room.
カガリはそのことは？
Do you remember that, Kagari?
ね、覚えてない。
I don't. I couldn't imagine Lukako would lie, but there would be any point to him doing so. But the same was true for Kagari too.
漆原さん、その研究室どこだったかわかる？
Inishibara, do you remember where that lab was?
詳しくはわからないんですけど、脳とか記憶とかそんな研究をしているって言ってました。
I don't know the details, but they said they were doing research on memories in the brain.
ということは、もしかすると脳科学研究所かもしれないわね。
Which means it might have been the brain science lab.
The brain science lab. That was where...
私が所属しているところよ。
That's where I work.
And also where Makise worked too.
それじゃあもしかしたらカガリはヒアジョーさんやクリスと会っていたかもしれないということか。
Then Kagari may have met Makise and you.
あくまでも家庭の話よ。
It's just a possibility.
脳科学を研究しているところは一つじゃないし、
There's more than one place that researches brain science.
私のいるところだって陰性だけじゃなく一般の研究者もたくさん出入りしてるもの。
And it's not just grad students where I work. There are a lot of regular scientists too.
Yeah, because we saw that with Jane, whatever her name was, or Jen, who was the other lecturer outside of Leskinen. So her project could also have been where Kagari was. It doesn't necessarily have to be Maho's work, or Makise's for that matter. But the fact that she knew the back area with the mice before it was broadcast means she knows it somehow. The big question is, how?
私だって研究所にいる人間全員と顔を合わせたわけじゃないわ。
Even I haven't met everyone at the lab.
ただ同じ日本人となると見かければ記憶には残っているでしょうね。
But if I saw another Japanese person there, I'm sure I'd remember that.
Which meant she didn't remember it. Which meant she probably hadn't met her.
ルカ子、他にかがりのことで気になったことはないか？
Lukako, was there anything else about Kagari that you've noticed?
かがりさん、時々びっくりするくらい難しいことを知っていたり。
Kagari sometimes know about things that are really complicated.
私だって難しいことくらい知ってるもん。
Hey, I know some complicated things.
Kagari pouted. That was one expression that was totally different from Makisei's.
例えば
For example,
バラとか憂鬱とか。
roses and
Depression? Yuri from Doki Doki Literature Club, is that you? Have you come back? Those were just words that were complicated to write in Japanese.
昨日はテレビで記憶の捏造について放送していたんですけど、それもなんだか詳しそうでした。
they were doing a special on fake memories last night, and you seemed like you knew a lot about it.
記憶の捏造ね。確かにその研究をしているチームもいるわ。私たちも一度話を聞かせてもらいに行ったもの。
Fake memories, huh? Yeah, one of the teams is working on that. We went to talk to them one time.
かがり、今その話はできるのか？
Kagari, can you talk about that now?
ね、それがよくわからないの。私、本当にそんなことを話してた？
I don't really know. Did I really talk about that stuff?
話してましたよ。
You did?
She put her hand between her eyebrows and thought. She really didn't remember, it seemed.
今までにこういうことはよくあったのか？
Has this happened a lot before?
最近まではそれほど。この何日かで急に。
None of that much until recently. It suddenly started happening over the last few days.
Yep, so it suggests that a germ of a memory has started taking root in Kagari's brain. Who's triggering it and how is another question. But again, it seems a bit coincidental that Maho's lecturer from the other project, Jane, has turned up in Japan. I don't trust that. I really don't. I didn't know how Kagari could know things about Victor Kandria, but it clearly had something to do with her missing memories. If I followed the trail a little longer, I might learn some clues. It was possible I might be able to bring back her memories. Suddenly, she started to moan in pain.
かがりさん、どうしたんですか？
Kagari, what's wrong?
ちょっと頭が。
My head. Kind of.
痛いんですか？
It hurts.
Lukaku was looking at her face, worried.
ちょっぴり。
Yeah, just a bit.
少し横になるか？
Want to lie down a little?
大丈夫。
I'm fine.
少し話をせかせすぎたかもしれないな。
Maybe this is all too
そう
sudden.
ね。負担が大きかったのかもしれないわね。
That's right. We may have put too much stress on her.
Maho was looking worried too.
本当に平気？
Are you really okay?
大丈夫です。ありがとう、先輩。
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, senpai.
だったらいいのだけど。
I hope so.
The conversation was so natural that Maho and I almost missed it.
おい今
Hey, did she just...
先輩って。
Yeah, she called me senpai.
Yep. We might be going towards the ending I can't stand. A way to download Makisei's memories into Kagari. I really fucking hope that's not an ending. That will be the worst cop-out and lamest solution there is.
かがり君今確かに先輩って呼んだよなヒアジョーさんのこと。
Kagari, you just called Hiajo senpai, right?
嘘。私そんなこと。
No way. I didn't.
いいえ、間違いなく言ったわ。漆原さん、あなたも聞いていたわよね。
No, you definitely did. Urushibara, you heard it too, right?
はい。
Yes.
Senpai. The Japanese word used to address an older classmate or colleague. I just learned that Maho and Kagari hadn't met at Victorchondria. Did that mean it was just a mistake? The sound of footsteps coming up the stairs distracted me. They were so heavy, there was no need to wonder who it was.
おつー。
Hey!
お邪魔してます。
Hello.
おう、魔法タンも来てたん？
Oh, you're here, Maho-san!
その呼び方はやめて。
Don't call me that.
足りるかな？ひふみ。
Do I have enough? 1, 2, 3. He ignored Maho's complaint and started to count the number of people in the room. There was some kind of paper bag in his hands.
よかった。大丈夫みたい。
Okay, I've got enough.
何が大丈夫なんだ。
Enough what?
ほら、この前駅前にでかいアトルあるでしょ？あそこに美味しそうなプリン売っててさ、たまにはと思って買ってきたんだけど、人数分あるかなって。
You know how they opened the new 8-song in front of the station? They were selling some good-looking pudding. I thought it might be a nice treat, so I brought enough for everybody. He put down the bag, opened the box, and started putting the pudding cups on the table.
ダル後にしろ。
Daru, do it later.
何みんな難しい顔して。僕がこんなん買ってくるの、そんな珍しい？
Why do you all look so upset? Is it that rare for me to buy something for everybody? Yes. Yes, it is, Daru. It's exceptionally rare. They've all been shocked into silence.
まあ確かにその通りだけど、ちょうどバイトで結構な臨時収入が入ったんだよね。
Well, I guess it is, but I got some extra work at my job, you see.
仕事ができる上に気配りと収入を持ち合わせている僕に惚れてもいいの？あれ？
Now that I'm talented, I'm also kind-hearted and I get paid. Feel free to fall in love, lady. Huh? He turned the bag over and started shaking
ス
it.
プーンが一人分足りない。さては店員のお姉さん、入れ忘れたな。
I'm missing a spoon! I bet the staff there forgot to put one in.
使ってないスプーンなら確か流しのところに。
I think there's a clean spoon in the sink. No, it's not clean if it's in the sink. It needs to be in the draining board or dried and in the drawer. If it's in the sink, it ain't clean. Unless you have a sink you don't use for washing, that ain't clean.
私、マイスプーン持ってるから。
Oh, I've got my own spoon I always use. Lukago started to get a spoon from the sink, then suddenly stopped. He looked at Kagari with a confused expression.
かがりさん、マイスプーンなんて 持ってましたっけ？
Kagari, do you own a spoon? え？
かがりさんが持ってたのって、ウーパのキーホルダーだけだったような。
I thought all you had with you was the Upa keychain, right?
Yep. Luca, for once, is totally switched on and absolutely correct.
あれ？そうだよね。おかしいな。なんで私持ってるなんて。
Huh? That's right, isn't it? That's strange. Why did I say I had one?
Her own spoon. I'd heard someone say that before. Not many people carried their own spoons around. It was common in Japan to carry your own personal set of chopsticks lately, but not spoons. But I knew. I had known someone who carried around her own spoon. It was Makise Kurisu. Just a moment ago she called Maho Senpai. Did Kagari know Makise after all?
なあヒヤジョさん、向こうで君のことを先輩と呼ぶ人間は何人いた？
Hey, Hyajo. How many people called you Senpai in America?
一人だけよ。
Just one.
先輩とか後輩とか、そういう呼び方とか関係は日本独特のものだから。
It's a Japanese word and a Japanese concept, after all.
Unless you're a weeb, in which case you will actually sometimes address people as senpai outside Japan. I was a member of a J-pop forum a long time ago called Hello Online, and I'd been there for a few years, and they had like their own internal rank posts, which is like after so many hundred you get a new subtitle, and after a couple of thousand you got the title senpai. And one of the users actually PM'd me and was there, Senpai, I need your help with regards to this particular band. I told them to cut it right out. It creeped me the fuck out. It's like, I'm not your senpai. Please don't do that. I'm not Japanese. There was no need to ask who it was.
私を先輩と呼んでたのは
The only one who called me senpai,
クリスだけ。
that's Chris.
クリス。
Kurisu?
かがり、君は牧瀬クリスのことを知ってるのか？
Kagari, do you know a girl named Makise Kurisu?
クリス。牧瀬クリス。
Kurisu? Makise Kurisu?
And Evian, exactly, it was weird. It freaked me out. I'm like, you're a fan of the same kind of music. I'm not your senior. I'm not a grad or anything like that. What are you doing? It felt so weird. I also don't like the connotation for it, because someone might... Yeah, well, let's not go down that rabbit hole. I don't like the idea of it. Let's just leave it there. Did she know her? And was she imitating her? But why would she need to do that?
牧瀬クリス。
Makise Chris.
Kagari seemed to be desperately searching her memories, but it didn't seem to be working. There was sweat on her forehead. Her headache might still be bothering her.
無理はしなくていい。急いで思い出す必要は。
Don't force yourself. There's no need to remember immediately.
このままにしとくのもなんだか気持ち悪い。
No, it feels creepy leaving it like this.
何か思い出せそうなんですか？
Do you feel like you can remember something?
Yeah, Avian, leave it there. Just leave it there. Put it down. Walk away. The conversation is over. Leave it alone.
わかんない。わかんないから、オカリンさん、何か話して。
I don't know. Try saying something, Ocarine.
Did she hear anybody else call him Ocarine? When he came back from the other world line, Mayashi was there. so Mayashi may have mentioned it.
一体何が何なん？
Huh? What? What's going on here? The fact that Kagari responded this strongly to Carissa's name means that it meant there had to be some relationship. What could there possibly be? The question was this. What had Kagari been doing ever since she separated from Suzuha in 1998? If she never met Maho, did she ever meet Karisu? Maybe she became friends with Karisu and learned a lot about her. Then she got in Karisu's stories mixed up with her own memories. Or... I remembered the machine that Karisu had developed in the Alpha World line and came up with a certain hypothesis. I quickly told myself it was impossible. My eyes met Maho's. She nodded.
かがり、じゃあいくつか質問させてくれ。
Okay, Kagari. Let me ask you some questions. And yes, I'm glad you're laughing at that, Avian. Just leave it there. It's over. For now, I wanted to learn how much Kagari knew about Karisu.
君の父親はどこにいる？
Where is your father?
パパは死んじゃった。子供の頃に。
Daddy died when I was a kid. If her memories were mixed with Krista's, she wouldn't say that. Those were Kagari's memories. She said she remembered everything from before she was 10 years old. She'd only lost her memories after she'd separated from Suzuha in 1998. I had to go a little deeper.
それじゃあ栗ご飯と言ったら何を思い浮かべる？
Then what does the word curry gohan mean to you?
栗ご飯？何なの？
Curry Gohan? What are you talking about?
答えてくれ、かがり。
Answer me, please, Kagari.
栗ご飯。
Curry gohan.
カメハメハ。
Kamehameha. Everyone else seemed confused, but I felt as if my heart was about to stop. How could she know? Curry Gohan and Kamehameha was Karisu's @channel handle. Not only did she keep that a secret, she almost never let anyone know that she posted on @channel. She never would have told anyone. How could Kagari know something that only Karisu should know? More sweat was pouring down Kagari's forehead. Luca offered her a handkerchief, worried. Kagari nodded and took it.
かがり、タイムトラベルの主な理論がいくつあるか知っているか？
Kagari, can you tell me how many major theories of time travel there are? Maho looked like she wanted to say something, but I motioned for her to stay quiet. Not now, Maho. Stop.
11。
11. Kagari spoke clearly, as if the answer was the most obvious thing in the world.
全部で11。
11 in total.
あれ？違ったかな？
Wait, is that right? I hadn't expected much when I asked the question. I certainly hadn't expected that. The terrifying possibility I thought of earlier was becoming more and more real. And unfortunately for me, it's getting... don't do this game. Do not do the cross-world line reincarnation ending that I think you're going for. Please don't. It was impossible. It had to be. The more I tried to convince myself, the more my fears grew.
11の理論を具体的に説明できるか？
Can you tell me what these 11 theories are?
中性子星理論、それからブラックホール理論に高速理論。
Neutron star theory, and then black hole theory, light speed
タ
theory.
キオン理論、ワームホール理論、エキゾチック物質理論。
Tachyon theory, wormhole theory, exotic matter theory. Kagari was counting with her fingers and speaking with very little
宇
hesitation.
宙ひも理論、量子重力理論、セシウムレーザー光理論。
Cosmic string theory, quantum gravity theory, cesium laser theory. Yeah, you're with me, Avi, and you're not looking like him where it's going either. I pray that I'm wrong, but something about it just seems far too convenient.
素粒子リングレーザー理論、最後にディラック反粒子理論。
Elementary particle ring and laser theory. And lastly, Dirac antiparticle theory.
全部合ってる。
Those are all correct.
Maho's voice was hoarse.
岡部さん、私どうしてそんなこと知ってるんだろう。
Tell me, Okabe, how do I know all this?
Kugari looked like she was about to cry a little.
もう一つ聞くが、
Can I ask you one more thing?
それらの理論を用いてタイムマシンは作れると思うか？
Could you use those theories to build a time machine?
できないと思う。
I don't think so. Oh.
でもこの11の理論では作れないけど、今後の科学の発展次第ではできなくもないじゃないかな。
Oh, but even if you couldn't use these 11 theories, science may invent a new theory that works someday.
どうしてそう思う？
Why do you think so?
どうして？それはどうしてだろう。
Why? That's because... I don't know.
じゃあ質問を変えよう。その考え方に行き着いたのはなぜだ？
Then let me ask another question. How did you arrive at that conclusion?
わかんないけど、ただなんとなく知ってたような。
I don't know. Just somehow I knew.
She knew, huh? That meant the knowledge that existed inside of her. But why did she have that knowledge? Had she been a Victor Conjurer at some time in the past and met Karisu there? Maybe they were close friends. So close that Karisu would share her @channel nickname, which she never told anyone? And then perhaps she mistook what she'd heard from Karisu for her own memories. That was the most obvious possibility. But that would go against what Karisu had said. Karisu said she didn't really have any close friends in America. She seemed to have developed a solid relationship with Maho at work, but... The dark fear in my mind kept growing.
なあヒアジョーさん、アマデウスは凍結されたと言っていたが。
Hey, Hyajo. Remember how you said Amadeus was put on hold?
アップロードされていたクリスの記憶データってまだ存在するのか？
Does the uploaded memory data for Karisu still exist?
多分破棄はされていないはずだけど。
Huh? Yeah, probably. I don't think it was erased.
それってどれだけの人間がアクセスできたんだ？
How many people could access that?
ごく限られた人間だけよ。どこにも公表はしていなかったから。
Very few. We never really announced it anywhere.
私やレスキネン教授、他に助手が何人か、そしてクリス。
Myself, that's Aleskinen, a few of the other assistants, and then Karisu.
ちなみにその記憶データを人間の脳に移植することって可能だったりするよな。
Another question. Would it be possible to transfer that memory data to a human brain?
Huh?
In the other world line, Maho herself, or Dr. Leskinen to be precise, had said something about that at the ATF seminar. And I had experienced it myself. Through a machine that digitized human memories, sent them through time, and then back to the same person's brain. It didn't exist in this world line, but... I'd once lived in a world line where it was developed in this very room. I'd used it far more times than I'd ever wanted to. And because of that experience, I came up with an idea. A terrifying idea. Another way to explain what was happening to Kagari now.
一体
What are you getting at?
マイスプーンを持ち歩いていたのはクリスなんだ。
Karisu was the one who had her own personal spoon.
大学でヒアジョーさんのことを先輩って呼んでいたのもクリスだけだ。
She was the only one who called you senpai at school.
栗ご飯とカメハメハはクリスがアットチャンネルで使っていたコテハンだ。知っているのは本人以外だと俺くらいのはずだ。
Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha was Karisu's handle on at channel. I'm the only one who knew about it besides her.
クリスならビクトル・コンドリア大学の研究室のことも知ってる。
Karisu would know about the lab at Victor Condria.
マウス実験のことも知ってる。
She would know about the mouse experiments.
11のタイムマシン理論についても知ってる。
She would know about the 11 theories of time travel.
オカリンさん、どういうこと？
Ocarine, what do you mean?
何が言いたいの？
What are you trying to say?
俺の思いついた仮説だ。
This is my idea. I looked around the room at everyone, then back at
カガリ
Kagari.
もしかしたら君の頭の中にはマキセ・クリスの記憶が移植されているかもしれない。
Kagari, it's possible that you may have Makise Kurisu's memories inside you. Big revelation, and I kind of, as I say, I saw it as a possibility and I really hoped it's not the way they're going. I'd like it to be something else. I really would.
カガリの頭の中にマキセ・クリスの記憶が入ってる。
Kagari has Makise Kurisu's memories. Suzuha didn't seem as surprised as I'd expected. Maho and I asked her some more questions after that. About Victor Condria. About her research. Her answers were all over the place. Some things she knew and some things she didn't. But some of the things she knew were things that only Maho and Kurisu would have known. In the end, instead of being overturned, my hypothesis came out even stronger. All the questions seemed to tire Kagari out. With Tanoji's permission, Lukaku took her home. Maho completely refused to accept what I was saying, but did say before she left that she'd look into whether it was possible to transfer Amadeus' memory data into a human brain. You see, my problem with this potential solution is it's too close to the Matrix and Johnny Mnemonic. I really don't want that to be where they were going with the story. It just doesn't make sense. And that night, I explained the situation to Suzuha.
それってカガリが二重人格ってこと？
So you mean Kagari has two personalities?
いやそうじゃない。
No, that's not it.
二重人格っていうのは正確には乖離性同一性障害といって誰かの中に別の人格ができることだ。
The proper word for multiple personalities is dissociative identity disorder. That's when additional personalities are created within the person themselves.
言うなれば今の自分に対する不満や不安から自らの中に別の人格を作ってしまうようなものだな。
It's like you're upset or uneasy about who you are, so you make another personality within yourself. No new phone calls or anything? Yeah, so you're thinking on my route here, Avian, exactly, that it'll make it so the dominant memories are Kurisu's over Kagari's. And that, as you say, that's possibly what's going to happen. One choice that comes through will give us Kagari, one will give us Makise. We shall see, won't we? Once in a while, there would be a case where someone would take the personality of the man or woman they admired, but usually it was a completely original one.
でもカガリの場合は違う。
They take the personality of someone they admired, kind of like, Holy Kiyomada! But that's not what's going on in Kagari's case.
カガリの中にあるのは人格じゃない。 文字通りマキセ・クリスの記憶だけだ。
She doesn't have her personality. What she's got, quite literally, is only Kurisu's memories.
クリスの記憶だけが彼女の頭の中に混在していると考えられる。
It's possible that Kurisu's memories are mixed in with her own. Kagari's memories weren't overwritten. She still had them. So they had mixed together.
なるほど。
I see.
2036年の技術ではそれは決して不可能な話じゃない。
With 2036's technology, that's certainly possible.
じゃあ2036年からのタイムトラベラーであるカガリなら十分その可能性はあるということか。
Then since Kagari's a time traveler from that year, it's a possibility.
でもさ、かがりたんは10歳より前の記憶はあるわけっしょ。
But she has her memories from when she was 10, right?
他人の記憶をぶち込まれるなんてことされたら、その時のこと覚えてるはずじゃね。
If they put someone else's memories into her head, she should remember that, right?
あの子は幼い頃たまに神様の声が聞こえるって言っていたような気がする。
I think I remember her saying that once in a while that she heard the voice of God.
幻聴か。それがクリスの記憶からにじみ出てきたものっていうのは考えられる。
A hallucination. It's possible that's a product of Kurisu's memories leaking out. Yeah.
ただ未来はこの時代ほどのどかじゃなかった。物資も人も足りてなかったんだ。
But the future wasn't as peaceful as this era. There weren't enough people, and there weren't enough supplies.
記憶を移植するなんていう技術は実用化されているとしても軍の機密扱いだよ。
Even if they did have a memory transfer technology, it would have been a military secret.
一般人のしかも子供に使ったとは思えないな。
I can't imagine them using it on a civilian, especially a kid.
カガリは繊細孤児だった。 PTSD を治療するためにそういう技術が使われたということは。
Kagari was a war orphan. There's no chance it was used to cure her PTSD.
だからって他人の記憶を移植するのはさすがに変だ。
That wouldn't explain why they want to transfer someone else's memories into her.
だな。
That's right.
となると記憶のない時期1998年以降にその移植が行われた可能性が高くなってくるが。
Which means it's more likely that it was done between the time when she had no memories. Between 1998 and now.
2036年なら可能でもさ、今の技術でできるもんなん？
Even if it's possible in 2036, is it possible right now?
クリスなら可能だろう。
Teresa could do it. She'd done it all by herself to make the time leak machine, after all.
マキセ・クリスがカガリに自分の記憶を移植したって？
So Makise Kurisu transferred her own memories to Kagari?
彼女はそんなマッドサイエンティストみたいなことをする人だったの？
Why would she do that? It's like something a mad scientist would do. There was no way. It was impossible. It had to be. And there weren't many people as smart as Makise Kurisu. If she didn't do it, I couldn't imagine anyone else would. But what about Dr. Leskinen? If he's had Makise memory dump into Amadeus theory about this machine that can mess around with memory as part of a brain science lab experiment that she was doing, and she's then murdered. If that data has been transferred to Amadeus, Leskinen encourages Amadeus to play around with the concept and develop it further. Who's to say that he wouldn't just give an executive command as the creator of Amadeus? So, don't be writing it off yet.
そうだよな。突飛な発想すぎるよな。俺だってそう思う。
That's right. I'm getting ahead of myself. I agree. I might have been getting too attached to my own idea.
クリスしか知り得ないことをカガリが知っているのは間違いないんだ。
But there's no doubt that Kagari knows things only Kurisushi could know.
例えば幽霊になった牧瀬氏の魂がかがりたんに乗り移った的なことだったりして。
Maybe, like, Makiseshi's soul became a ghost and possessed her. To be fair, Daru, that makes a lot more sense than someone having a computer downloading memories into someone's brain. It still sounds stupid, but it actually does sound more credible, believe it or not. I can't believe I just said that live on the internet.
お前そんなオカルト話をヒヤジョーさんの前ででも披露してみろ。全力で論破されるぞ。
Don't even think of saying that around Hyajo. She'll laugh in your face.
ですよね。
You get that right. Watch for a while to see how things went. We were just students, without any kind of specialized knowledge. No matter how much we debated, or what ideas we came up with, we wouldn't be able to find the answer easily.
そういえばダル、ユキさんはどうしてる？
Come to think of it, Daru, what's Yuki up to?
天音なら毎日バイト忙しいみたいだよ。
She's busy with work every day, it looks like.
彼女は何のバイトをしているんだった？
What does she do again?
ケーキ屋さんって聞いてる。美味しいから一度食べに来てって言われた。
Works the cake bakery, I heard. She said it's really good and we should go check it out.
そうそう。でもちょっと遠いんだよね。
That's right, but it's a little far away, isn't it?
だからこそ言ったら喜ばれるんじゃないか。しっかりしてよ、父さん。
That's why she'd be happy if you went, right? Get a grip, Dad.
あはい、さあせん。
Oh, right. My bad.
つうかオカリン、なんでいきなりそんなこと聞くん？
Wait, Ocarine, why are you asking
い
anyway?
や、ちょっと気になってな。
Oh, no reason. I was just curious. Yeah, well, say, Avian, I suggested that she could well be a daughter or thing of Krisu the first time I saw her, didn't I? Let's not forget they've had the mice experiment, haven't they? So what if they have done that? Now that'd be pure science fiction, but so's time travel. So realistically, there's nothing to say that that's not a solution. Because again, we've had the mice experiments, we've had the downloading memory data. There's a lot in here to suggest that it'd be kind of like farming babies, which again, unfortunately, is ripping off the Matrix. TLDR for the first Matrix, people were grown in fields. Literally. That girl in the motorcycle suit. Could that have been Amane Yuki? I still had to convince myself it wasn't her. Interestingly enough, Avian, what you've described there, actually, there's an author called David Gemmell. He's dead now, unfortunately. He died of a heart attack. But he wrote a pair of novels about a character called Skill Ganon. And one of his books, called The Swords of Night and Day, had a very similar plotline. But it's a fantasy story rather than sci-fi. Worth checking out. So 2 books together, one called White Wolf and one called Swords of Night and Day. The Swords of Night and Day is the sequel. Has a very similar plotline. If it was, she may be involved in some way with what was happening to Kagari. But that attack only took place in the other world line. It hadn't happened in this one, so I had no way to tell. And Avian, yes, one of Gibbs's rules, there's no such thing as a coincidence. Absolutely true. It's really coincidental she's ended up with Suzuha and Mayuri. Very, very, very convenient.
もし彼女のことで何か。
If there was something she... Huh?
お母さんがどうかしたの？
Is there something going on with Mom?
いや、なんでもない。
No, it's nothing. I still didn't have any proof. I just have to keep an eye on her. My priority right now was Kagari. What had happened during the time when she'd lost her memories? If I could find that out, I might be able to understand what was about to happen to us. Are we changing characters here?
それじゃあ始めるわよ。いい？
Okay, I'm going to get started. Ready?
うん。
Yeah.
Maho came to the lab again the next day. She was there to look at Kagari's memories. Kagari had volunteered to work with her. As of yesterday, my hypothesis was still just a hypothesis. Yeah, exactly, Avian. You're on my wavelength. It's way too convenient. Someone intended for her to go back with Suzuha and, as you say, playing God. Because don't forget, so far, Okabe has not sent any D-mails or done anything himself to alter the world line. Those moments of shift have still not been fully explained. And anytime she saw a hypothesis, she wanted to test it. Maybe that's just how scientists were. And yeah, Avian, I'm with you. I don't like the hypothesis either.
まずはこれを見てもらえる？
First, can you look at this?
Maho held up a cell phone. There was a picture displayed on its screen. It was a corridor with white walls and clean white floors, and two people wearing white lab coats were walking down it.
これがどこだかわかる？
Do you know where this is?
学校？
A school?
どこの？
Which school?
ビクトル・コンドリア大学の。
Victor Kandria University. Now, automatically, that answer should be discarded. Because psychology tells me she knows that Maho is from Victor Kandria and that Okabe was asking about it. So the moment that she did a fishing answer of a school and Maho came back with what school, it's a psychological trick to lead her into giving that answer. So this should be discarded.
この手前に歩いてる人、彼の名前は？
Do you know who this is? In front.
トニー・ブラウン。あだ名は JB。興奮すると独特のステップを踏むから。
Tony Brown. His nickname is JB because he does this weird little dance when he gets excited.
Now that, on the other hand, should be definitely paid attention to. That's way too specific.
じゃあこっちの彼女は？
And who's the girl?
わかんない。
I don't know.
どうだ？
Well,
彼女も私たち研究者の間ではかなり有名な子よ。クリスだって当然知ってるはずだわ。
She's pretty famous amongst us scientists. Chris would definitely know her.
仮にカガリがクリスの記憶を持っているとしても、完全に全てを思い出せているわけじゃないみたいだ。
it looks like even if Kagari does have Chris's memories, she can't recall them all perfectly. You say it's interesting, the JB one. I always think of Jenson Button, the ex-Formula 1 world champion, whenever I see the letters JB. I'm too used to him in commentary going, and that's JB making a great move on the inside. I know it's got nothing to do with the game, but I'm an F1 nerd, what can I say? That's how it seemed yesterday, too.
記憶として呼び起こされるものと、そうじゃないものがあるんじゃないのか。
Maybe there's some things she can remember and other things she can't.
だからってこの程度じゃまだクリスの記憶だと断言はできないわ。
That doesn't mean we can say for sure that these are Carissa's memories yet.
彼らのことくらい調べれば誰だってわかることだもの。
Anyone could find out about these two with a little research.
かがりさん、もう少し突っ込んだ質問をしてもいい？
Kagari, can I ask you some more questions? Okay.
去年の冬、私とクリスで映画を見に行ったことがあるの。
Last winter, Carissa and I went to see a movie.
Yeah, you say it might be an Easter egg we don't understand. It said it was to do with a dance, wasn't it? If we're going to the backlog quickly. Yeah, there we are. Because he does this weird little dance when he gets excited. So a weird little dance for a character with the initials JB. Weird little dance. That was lost on me. Completely lost on me.
ヒアジョーさんとクリスが？
You and Kurisu did.
意外？私たちだってたまには息抜きをする。普段は研究ばかりだけど。
Is that surprising? Even we need a break sometimes. Normally all we do is work.
It was surprising, actually. I hadn't thought they'd interacted outside of work.
研究でちょっと詰まってた私をあの子が連れ出してくれたのよ。たまたまチケットが2枚あるからって。
I was hitting a little wall in my research, so she took me out. She said she just happened to have 2 tickets.
That's just like how a man asks a girl on a date. Yeah. And I failed every time. She never was any good with that stuff. Yeah, me too. Me too.
その時に見た映画のタイトルわかるかしら？
Do you know what the title of the movie was?
Right, so far they've avoided mentioning titles of anything because they've not wanted to get done for copyright. This is 2015, so it could be like Spectral, the James Bond movie, for instance, because of the JB initials, or something like that.
ボブ・ワイナー監督の彼と彼女の予感？
Bob Wiener's His and Her Foreboding. No, not even close to what I was expecting. Maho gulped. That must have been the right answer.
それって最近の映画か？聞いたことないが。
Is that a new movie? I've never heard of it.
20年前の作品。そのリバイバル上映だったのよ。
It's 20 years old. This was a revival showing.
So His and Her something from 1995? No. 1990, because this game's set in 2010, I think. Maybe 2011, but 2011, sorry, so 1991. I've no idea what that's trying to reference. And Kagari had guessed it. She'd known the title of a movie that Kurisu and Maho had gone to see together in private. And since it wasn't a major worldwide release, it wasn't something you could with a lucky guess.
でもそれも誰か目撃していた人がいればわかることよ。
But somebody could have witnessed it.
だが君が今日そんな質問をするということは予想できなかったはずだ。
Sure, but how would they know you were going to ask that question?
かがりがそのために細かい情報まで全て暗記したとでも？
Are you saying she memorized every tiny bit of information you could possibly ask about? It would be impossible, and she didn't have a reason to bother anyway.
私だってそのくらいのこと分かってるわ。
It's not like I don't know that.
I could tell from the pained expression on her face that Maho was struggling with something, and I was starting to realize what it was. She didn't want to admit it. She didn't want to admit it was possible. It was winter, but Kagari's forehead was dripping with sweat again. I'm glad that I'm not the only one there. I say I'll have to look up and see what they're referencing with it. Going through her confused memories may have been putting a lot of stress on
こ
her.
れぐらいにしよう。かがりがきつそうだ。
That's enough. This looks like it's hard on Kagari.
待って、最後にもう一つだけ聞かせて。
Wait, just let me ask one more question.
いいよ、どうぞ。
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Kagari nodded and motioned for her to go ahead.
子供の頃、あなたが一番大切にしていたものは何？
What was your greatest treasure when you were a kid?
子供の頃。
When I was a kid?
それはアメリカに移住してからもずっと部屋に置いてあった。
Even after you moved to America, you always kept it in your room.
Interesting, so Maho is now actually speaking to her as if she is Makise.
イルカのぬいぐるみ。水族館に行った時、パパが買ってくれた。
A stuffed dolphin. Dad bought it for me when we went to the aquarium.
Maho sighed and sunk onto the sofa.
合ってるのか？
Is she right?
昨日クリスのお母さんが電話で教えてくれたわ。
Yep. Chris's mom told me about it on the phone last night.
このことを知ってるのはクリスとご両親だけ。
The only people who knew about that were Chrisu and her parents.
それじゃあ
Then,
悔しいけどあなたの仮説を否定できない。
I hate to admit it, but this hypothesis of yours, I can't rule it out.
そうか。
I see.
私どうなっちゃうのかな。
What's going to happen to me?
I didn't have an answer. I didn't even know how this had happened in the first place. Ooh, we've gone silent all of a sudden. Time to take a quick save here, I think. The only possibility I could think of was...
かがりさん、付き合わせて悪かったわね。ゆっくり休んで。
Kagari, sorry to make you go through all this. Get some rest. Maho stood up with a serious expression on her
帰る
face.
のか？
You're leaving?
自分なりにまだ検証できることは残っていそうだから。
Yeah. There's still some things I can check on my own.
それじゃあまた。
Okay, see you later. Maho got up and went for the door, without bothering to look back. She seemed to be silently shutting out the entire world. All we could do was watch her go. Yep, and now we got a character shift to Maho. I thought we might do that. Hyajo Maho stared at her computer monitor in a daze. The rest of the world was still feeling the afterglow of New Year's excitement. The last time she'd come to Japan, it was still in the heat of summer. She'd used her vacation days to come then. Her co-worker, Makase Kurisu, had suddenly died, and she wanted to see the place where she was murdered herself. Maho's feelings for Makase Kurisu were complicated. Until Kurisu had come to her lab, Maho had thought of herself as a genius. She graduated high school after skipping grades and joined a university lab while she was still in her teens. It was understandable that she'd feel that way. Everyone else said she was a genius too. But her pride was shattered into tiny little pieces by the arrival of Makase Kurisu. She was the real thing. Maho didn't even come close to her. She realised that she could never be as smart as Kurisu. And she realised that she didn't want to be beaten by her anyway. It would have been so much easier if she could have hated her. It would have been so much easier to hate Kurisu. But Makise Kurisu wouldn't even allow her that much. She was a dedicated scientist, and that dedication carried her over to her treatment of Maho too.
先輩のその研究うまくいけば革命的な成果が得られると思います。
Maho, I think your research has the potential to change the world.
私に何かできることがあれば手伝いますから言ってくださいね。
If there's anything I can do to help, I will. Just say the word. Someday, she swore she'd surpass her. Someday, she swore she'd make Kurisu say that she was the smarter one. But now that would never happen. Makise Kurisu went away on a trip and never came back. Maho had been told that she'd been attacked by a robber and killed, but it didn't seem real. It felt like she'd come back to the lab any day now and start arguing with the professors with that same self-satisfied smirk on her face. Until then, Maho would work on the Amadeus project, so that when Kurisu came back, she would be amazed. Amadeus. An artificial intelligence that could be loaded with an individual's memories. it was possible to digitize memories by analysing the nerve signals related to the memories stored in the temporal lobe. It had been Kurisu, of course, who'd proved it. And then Maho and her team had turned that proof into usable technology. By the time Kurisu got back, she would have it all ready for the next level. She'd show it to Kurisu and astonish her. But even that hope didn't last long. She was suddenly told that the project was cancelled. Of course, she couldn't accept it. But no matter what she said, no matter how many times she argued with the professor, she couldn't get the cancellation overturned. Amadeus went to sleep at the bottom of the lab server, along with Makise Kurisu's digitized memories. So you can definitely see how Maho has got that jealous streak to her, that envy, and ultimately that desire to prove her best friend that she's finally surpassed her. So Maho is in a very deep slump here, it must be said. Makise Kurisu's memories. Now they were in the head of another girl. How had that happened? There was only one possibility, if it was even possible at all. Just like Okabe Rintaro had said.
Oh yeah.
Oh! She opened the door and a large man she knew very well came inside.
Maho, どうしたんだい? まだ New Year holiday のはずだが?
Maho, what's wrong? I thought you were still on your New Year's holiday.
そういう教授こそわざわざ休みの日に出てきてるじゃないですか。
What about you, Professor? What are you doing here on your day off?
Maho's mentor, Dr. Leskinen, was here in Japan for a month-long conference on artificial intelligence. Maho had come with him as his assistant. But the conference didn't take place every day. So they spent the time between sessions at the Japanese office, making presentation materials and exchanging emails. Oh, why do I feel like I'm back at work all of a sudden? Making presentation, exchanging emails. Game, I'm on holiday, stop it!
私の場合、休みといっても特にすることもないからね。ホテルにこもっていても息が詰まるだけだし、それならここに来て仕事をしていた方がいい。
In my case, I don't have much to do on my days off. It's no fun sitting in the hotel, so I may as well come here and work.
だったら私も似たようなものです。
Then I guess I'm the same.
For a researcher, doing research was a hobby. If nothing else, all the scientists knew Maho was like that. Of course, she'd come here today because she'd assumed Dr. Leskinen would feel that way.
君にはいろいろとやることがあるだろう。例えば、デートとか。
You have a lot of things to do, don't you? Dating, for instance.
教授、あんまりしつこいとセクハラで訴えますよ。
Professor, if you keep that up, I'm going to sue you for sexual harassment.
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Maho would like to speak to his manager.
I'm sorry. I felt that corrode in my own throat there, people.
おっと、それだけは勘弁してくれ。
Oh, anything but that. Dr. Leskinen slumped his shoulders in the unique way that Caucasians always overreacted. Is that a unique thing to people who are Caucasian? I'm not sure on that one. He seemed intent on bringing Maho and Okabe together. She and Okabe were both friends of Kurisu's, and so they talked a lot, but there was nothing more to it than that. At least, that's what she thought. Probably.
それじゃあ、お詫びというわけじゃないですが、一つ聞いてもいいですか?
Alright. In lieu of an apology, can I ask you something?
Meanwhile, message from a Grapha Bra saying, let's go! Well, we've been going for the last hour and 14 minutes and 57 seconds, mate. How are you doing? Good evening to you.
訴訟されないで済むのなら何なりと。
Anything if it will keep me out of court.
じゃあ聞きますけど、アマデウスは今どうなっているんですか？
Alright. What's going on with Amadeus right now?
どうも何も。今のところ進められる目処が立っていないことは君だってよく知っているはずだよ。
You should know the answer to that right now. There's no plans to continue the project.
それは分かってます。私が聞きたいのはアマデウスのデータはどうなっているかということです。
I know that. What I'm asking is, what happened to the Amadeus data?
研究室のサーバーに保管されているね。
It's saved on the lab server, right?
誰かがアクセスしたり持ち出したりは？
Nobody else accessed it or took it out?
Leskinen's eyes narrowed, and he slowly shook his head.
魔法、君がなぜそんな疑問を持ったのか私にはわからないが。
Maho, I don't know where you got that idea, but...
エムデウスへのアクセス権はごく限られた一部の人間にしかないし、不正にアクセスされたという事案も起こってはいないはずだ。
Amadeus access is limited to only a few people. And as far as I know, no one else has touched it.
少なくとも今まで私のところにそのような報告はもたらされていない。
If nothing else, I haven't received any reports about it.
私やクリスの記憶データも？
Then the same goes for my and Matt Carice's memory data.
もちろん。
Of course.
それじゃあ他に私が知らない人工知能のプロジェクトが動いているなんてこともありませんか？
Then, is it possible there's some other AI project going on that I don't know about?
あるわけがない。我々の研究チームには魔法、君の力が必要不可欠だ。
Of course not. You're the most important member of our research team.
私たちはクリスという才能を失った。
We've lost Chris.
それは大いなる損失だったが、彼女のいなくなった穴を埋められるのは君だけだと思っている。
And it was a big loss. But I think you're the only one who could take her place. Yeah, the way you keep kind of buttering her up and everything else is really not sus at all, Dr. Leskinen. We really have no reason to distrust you right now, do we? Get your head in the game, dude.
そんな君の知らないところで新たなプロジェクトなどを進めるはずがないだろう。
So there's no way I'd start a new project without you knowing, right?
そうですか。
I see.
The compliment felt like a bit too much for her to take at face value. There were a lot of scientists who were always looking to get a leg up on the competition. If someone else got the glory first, everything you worked on until that point would be useless. Even in the same team, there were only a few people you could really trust. Game, I'm on holiday. Please stop describing office politics. Office politics is bad. Well, to be fair, my job doesn't really have office politics. I've not seen any so far. But I've worked for a lot of companies that do have office politics, where this happens a lot. And it is annoying. But Tamaho, Dr. Leskinen was one of those people.
質問に対する答えはこれでいいかな？
Will that do for an answer?
はい。
Yes.
では私からの質問もいいかい？どうして急にそんなことを聞くんだい？
Then may I ask you something? Where did this come from all of a sudden?
それは
Well,
もしかして自分の秘密が誰かに漏れていないか心配にでもなったのかな？
Are you worried that someone might have access to your secrets? Because they ain't secrets anymore, love. That's what he's trying to say here.
まあそんなところです。
yeah, something like that.
それなら心配ない。いかにエメデウスとはいえ本人が秘密にしたいことは喋らないようにできている。君だって知っているはずだよ。
Then you don't need to worry. Amadeus was developed so as not to share any secrets the original wouldn't want shared. Yeah, you're talking about a serious advanced level of coding there. I kinda get the feeling you can't deliver on that promise. That's a check you definitely can't cash.
それは保存されたデータについても言える。
The same goes for the saved data.
仮に何者かがデータを盗んだところで本人がどうしても知られたくない部分はブラックボックスになっている。
Even if someone did steal it, the parts the original person wants kept secret the most are kept within a black box.
エムデウスからはもちろん記憶データからも取り出すことは不可能だ。
They can't be accessed by Amadeus or from the memory data itself.
秘密が漏れるとしたらその記憶を持つ生身の人間からだけだね。
If those secrets get out, it's because a living human wanted them to. And there is his admission. A living human. Not the original person like it said before, a living human. Remember those two words, people.
記憶を持つ生身の人間。
A living human.
そう、つまり本人だけということだ。
That's right. The original person themselves, in other words.
どうだい？少しは安心したかい？
Well, feel better?
ええ、まあ。
Yeah, I guess so.
It wasn't that she didn't trust Dr. Leskinen, but she couldn't relax until she'd seen for herself that no one had taken the data. Maho only thought it was possible to believe something after you'd seen it yourself. Very wise. Very, very wise, that. That's how she thought a scientist should be. But right now, she didn't have the access rights to do so. So in the end, she was stuck with her doubts. She knew this was going to happen, but she couldn't stop asking herself from asking anyway.
あら、二人ともいたのね。
Oh, I didn't expect to see you two here.
Dr. Reyes walked through the door just as she finished her conversation with the professor.
まったく、せっかくのホリデーだというのに、物好きね。
Christ, don't you two know it's a holiday?
Speak for yourself, lady, you're in the office. If you want to leave from the front being on holiday, why are you here? Can't have your cake and eat it.
レイエス教授こそ。
Thank you, Maho.
What about you, Dr. Reyes?
私はホテルにいてもやることなんてないから。
Oh, how convenient. Verbatim copy of what Leskinen said.
I've got nothing to do in my hotel.
Maho exchanged a glance with Dr. Leskinen, then shrugged. That's just how scientists were. No. Red alert. Red alert. Red alert. They're too in sync. That's a problem.
なになに？なんなのよ。
What? What's going on?
なんでもないです。
It's nothing.
She and Dr. Leskinen laughed at Reyes' confusion, but the doubts in her mind lingered. And are we going to character switch here? Yes, we are. We're back to Okabe. So wait for the fade in, and then I will do a save. Because we didn't have any choices in that chapter. Well, I say chapter, section. Carice's memories were inside Kagari's head. Several days had passed since I'd begun to suspect my hypothesis was correct.
ごめんなさい。オカリンさんにはいろいろ迷惑かけちゃって。
I'm sorry, Ocarine. I've caused a lot of trouble for you.
別に迷惑だなんて思ってない。それに俺なんかよりもルカ子やマユリの方がいろいろと気を配ってくれてるはずだ。
No, it's nothing, really. And I think Lukako and Mayuri are doing a lot more for you than me. In fact, Mayuri and Lukako were doing a very good job of taking care of her. Mayuri may not have realized it, but Kagari looked up to her as a mother figure. And after living under the same roof for so long, Lukako had come to care for her a lot.
そんな僕なんてただ話し相手になるくらいで。
That's not true. All I'm doing is giving her someone to talk to.
マユシーこそ何の役にも立ってあげられなくてごめんね。
Mayushi's sorry that she can't do more, you know?
そんなことないよ。ルカ君はすごくよくしてくれてるし、ママはいてくれるだけで嬉しいし。
No, that's not true. Luca's being really nice, and just having Mommy around makes me happy.
Mayuri fidgeted in embarrassment when she heard the word mommy. I can understand why. It must feel strange to be called mommy at her age, especially as someone who was older than she was.
ねえママ。
Hey, Mommy.
何？
What is it?
ギュッてしていい？
Can I give you a hug?
ギュッ？
A hug?
子供の頃にママがよくやってくれたみたいにギュッてしてもいい？
Can I give you a hug like you always used to for me when I was little?
Oh god, this must be creepy and confusing as fuck for Mayoshi. It's like, that's 26 years away? 25 maybe? I don't know what happened there. I don't know what you're talking about.
わわ照れちゃうな。
I'm blushing.
ダメ？
I can't.
いいよ。
No, go ahead.
Mayuri smiled and nodded, and Kagami gave her a big hug with a huge grin on her
か
face.
りちゃん、いい子いい子。
It's done with the most innocent of intentions, but I just find this really creepy.
Kagami, you're such a good girl.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh god, that's left beyond the foul taste in my mouth. Mayuri never asked for details, but she seemed to sense what was happening to Kagari. She probably understood this was the best thing she could do right now.
ママ。
Mummy,
It was strange. Kagari was a lot older, but when they were like this, they really did look like mother and child.
ありがとう、ママ。
thank you, Mummy.
Kagari slowly moved away from Mayuri. She looked a lot calmer than she had a moment ago. It was probably okay to talk to her now.
それでかがり調子はどうだ？
So, Kagari, how are you doing?
調子か。なんだかよくわからないかな。
How am I doing? I guess I don't know.
よくわからないとは？
You don't know?
ふとした瞬間に思い出すことがあるんだけど、それが自分のものなのかクリスさんのものなのかわかんないの。
Sorry, I apologise, people. I'd heard what sounded like banging, and I wanted to know if it was just me hearing something else or if something was going on outside, so I do apologise. I may have to quickly take a brief break and go and do a quick sweep of the house. For now, we'll carry on.
Sometimes I find myself remembering things, but I don't know if they're Chris's memories on my own.
難しい数式とか実験とか理解はできてないんだけど知ってるみたいな。
Complicated formulas, experiments. It's like I don't understand them, but I know them.
Kagari's only memories of her time were of her time as a child and the time since Lukaku's father's friend had found her. Karisa's memories would appear sometimes and fill the gap in between. I couldn't even imagine how that must have felt.
この前もね、パパのことを思い出したの。子供の頃、 パパに褒められた時の記憶。
Just a while ago, I remember Daddy. It was when Daddy told me I did good when I was little.
それを思い出して、なんだかすごく嬉しかったんだけどね。
I remembered that, and it made me really happy.
でも私、赤ちゃんの頃に両親死んじゃったし、それからはまゆりママに育ててもらったから、パパなんて知らないんだよね。
But my parents died when I was a baby. And then Mommy Mayuri raised me. I don't know who my dad is.
だけど、自分が経験したことじゃないのに、褒められて嬉しいっていう感情は確かにあって。
But even though it wasn't my own experience, I really felt happy when he praised me.
そう考えてると、頭の中がごちゃってなっちゃって。
And that just made my head feel all funny.
Kagari grimaced and held her head in her hands. The first time I'd met her, I'd been surprised by how much she looked like Karisu. But talking to her like this, I realized how different she was. The way her expression was constantly changing, and the way she always slightly overreacted, was actually more like Mayuri. Was that because they were mother and child?
そのクリスの記憶はよく出てくるのか？
So, do Karisu's memories come out often?
前に比べると頻繁になったかも。
Yeah, a lot more than they used to, maybe.
そうか。
I see.
ねえおかり、かがりちゃんどうなっちゃうのかな。
Hey, Okarine, what's going to happen to Kagari?
Well, we're going to find out in a second, but I'm just going to very quickly go away from computer. Just got a couple of quick checks to do. I do apologise. I'll be back shortly. Right, apologies, people. I just wanted to double check that before I did anything else. I'm going to say that weird noises I heard, it made it sound like someone was trying to get in my property, and I don't want to leave it exposed. Let's keep going.
本来ならちゃんとした専門機関で検査してもらうのが一番いいんだろうが。
Normally, the best thing we could do is get her looked at by a team of specialists. But given her position, it wasn't that easy.
あんまり検査はしたくないな。子供の頃もね、検査ばっかりしてたから。
I don't really want an exam. That was all I did when I was little.
そうなのか？
Yeah?
PTSD を治すためだって言って。
Yep. They said it was to treat my PTSD.
So she didn't seem eager to be looked at either, huh? If more of Chris's memories woke up, what would happen to her? Would she be Shina Kagari with the memories of Makise Karisu? Or would she become Makise Karisu? A person's personality was more than just the sum of their memories. But memories were an important part of it. Once she had Karisu's memories, what would happen to her? At this point, no one knew. It was quite possible that up until now, no one had ever shared a person's memories before.
あ、まゆりちゃん、時間。
Oh, Mayuri, it's time.
あ、ほんとだ。ねえおかり、この後かがりちゃんのこと任せていいかな。
Yeah, you're right. Hey, Okabe, can you take care of Kagari?
これから学校で進路についての説明会があるんだ。マユシーたちどうしても出なくちゃいけなくて。
We've got a meeting at school about our post-graduation plans, and we have to go.
すみません。
Sorry.
謝るなって。心配しなくていい。かがりはちゃんと家まで送っていくから。
Don't apologize. And don't worry. I'll take her home.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
それじゃあかがりちゃん、また明日ね。
Okay, Kagari. See you tomorrow.
ママ、また明日。
Bye, Mommy. See you tomorrow.
Once Miyuri and Lukako were gone, it was just me and Kagari in the room. After the problems with Kagari's memory started coming up, I'd been having her hold off on her job at the Bronchi workshop. But I was still having her come here as much as possible during the day, in case something happened. Suzuha and Tanoji were downstairs. That alone made me feel better. I suddenly felt Kagari looking at me.
どうした？
What's wrong?
改めて考えると、こうしてオカリンさんと話してるっていうのが不思議だなーって。
I just realized how strange it is to be talking with you like this, Okabe.
And I agree, Avian. Yeah, the mummy thing is really, really weird. I don't like it. It creeps me out.
不思議？どうして？
Strange? Why?
だって私にとってのオカリンさんはお話の中の人だったんだもん。
Because to me, you were always just this person I heard stories about.
お話の中。
Stories?
ダルおじさんやママから聞くお話の中の人。
Yep. Uncle Daru and Mommy would tell me about you.
That's right. According to Suzuha, I was going to die in 2025. Which meant that in Kagari's time, I was no longer alive.
ママはね、いっつもオカリンさんの話をしてたよ。
Mommy talked about you all the time.
オカリンがママを助けてくれた。オカリンがママの彦星様なんだよって。
Okabe saved your mommy. Okabe is Mommy's Hikoboshi.
あいつ未来になってもそんなこと言っているのか。
She still talks like that in the future. Now it was my turn to be embarrassed.
だからね、私もずーっと気になってたんだ。ママがそんなに大切に思ってるオカリンさんってどんな人なんだろうって。
So I always wondered who this Okabe person was that my mom cared so much about.
みんなが話題にする岡部倫太郎っていう人がどんな人なんだろうって。
Who was this Okabe Rintaro that everyone talked about?
もしかしたらちょっと憧れてたかも。
Maybe I always admired you a little.
からかうのはよしてくれ。
Stop teasing me.
オカリンさんたら照れちゃってる。
You're blushing, Okabe.
Kagari clearly had the upper hand here.
ね、でもそういう意味では牧瀬クリスって人もそうかな。
Oh, but that's probably true of Makise Kurisu too.
クリスが？
Kurisu?
牧瀬クリスっていう人の名前もママやダルおじさんの口によく上ってたから。
Yeah, Mommy and Uncle Daru used to talk about Makise Kurisu all the time.
Yeah, you don't like this direction either, I know. If it's going the way I think it's going, I really don't like it. You're there, Nix, in the comments, and I don't blame you. Yet the Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Oh wait, you don't mean that, Nix, do you?
ずっと昔に亡くなっちゃったのに そんなに影響のある人ってどんな人だろうって。
She died so long ago. I wonder what kind of person could have that much influence on things.
そのマユリはクリスのことをなんて。
What did Mayuri say about her? Now, very brief interlude here on the stream, by the way, is I've been thinking about what game I'm going to play after I'm done with Steins Gate 0. And I've had an idea, but I need to do some research in terms of ordering to make it happen. And that game that I'm thinking of playing is Zero Escape, which is kind of related to Danganronpa. It's not related technically, but it's a game series that is often referred to as its like sister series. So that's one of the games I'm thinking of playing next. I'm thinking of going and playing Zero Escape. And Avian, yes, I didn't want to say it out loud. I really didn't want to say that theory out loud, but that's exactly where I thought it was going as well. And as you say, nix.
オカリンさんの大切な人だって。
She said she was the person you loved.
The person I loved. For me, that was an undeniable truth. But that wasn't true for the rest of the lab. In this world line, Miyuri had never met Kurisu, and I tried as much as possible to avoid bringing her up. But thanks to me, even in the future, she'd still feel that way.
そうだ。今から買い物に行くんだが、よかったら一緒に来ないか。
Oh, I know. I'm going shopping. Want to come with me?
買い物？
Shopping?
ああ、まだこの辺りのことよく知らないだろ。
Yeah, you still don't know this area well, do you? Wow, Avian, you're really not happy about this, are you? You're saying that it's painful. Is it really that bad? Is it more painful than Best Girl Hifumi in Persona 5? Yeah, that's a question for you.
いいの？
Can I?
もちろんだ。
Of course. After what happened in the last world line, it was probably a good idea to keep her from going outside too much. But she probably needed a change of pace. It was still afternoon. As long as we stuck to busy streets, we'd probably be fine. That didn't work for me and Miyuri in the Alpha World line. That really didn't work.
やった！あ、実はね、いろいろ欲しいものもあったんだ。
Yay! There's a lot of things actually I've been wanting.
欲しいもの？
Things.
日用品とか、いろいろね。
Just some basic necessities.
ルカ子が用意してくれてるんじゃないのか？
Isn't Lukaku getting you those things?
そうだけど、あ、でもほら、ルカ君だって男の子でしょ？だからいろいろ頼んじゃうのも悪いなって。
Yeah, but he's a boy, right? So I didn't want to ask him for too much.
Oh. Avian, again, there's a reason why I didn't really want to say it. You've kind of hit it on the head in the comments there. I'm not going to read it out because it's creeping me out. All because it was up here first. I've been trying to avoid it. True. Even if he was beautiful, Lukaku was a guy. There were some things he just wouldn't understand.
それじゃあ行くか。
Okay, let's go.
Yeah!
やっぱりすごいよね。
Wow, this really is amazing.
Kagari's eyes were shining as she looked up and down the street.
人も多いし、お店もたくさんあるし、ここがあの秋葉原と同じ街だとは思えないな。
There are so many people and so many stores. It's hard to believe it's the same Akihabara.
未来の秋葉原はどんなところなんだ？
What's Akihabara like in the future?
一言で言うと、ね、そうだな。瓦礫の山かな。まあ、秋葉原に限ったことじゃないんだけどね。
The best way to describe it is, a pile of rubble.
Well, that goes for more than just Akihabara, though. Suzuha had said that the Third World War would start soon, which meant that a young Kagari would have only known the world after that horrible war. Of course, that was all my fault. Probably. If I did what Suzuha wanted and went back to July 28th, would the world line change so the Third World War never happened? Impossible. The world lines were going to converge no matter what I did.
あ、オカリンさん、もしかして自分のせいだなんて思っちゃってる？
Oh, Ocarine, are you telling yourself that it's your fault?
I gasped. She'd read my mind.
その反応は図星だね。でも、その考えはダメ。バッテンなのだ。
I guess so, but you can't think that. Nope.
私の知る限り、ママもタルおじさんも、誰もオカリンさんを責めてなんていなかったよ。
As far as I know, nobody, not Mommy or Uncle Daru, blamed you.
だって、ママたちはみんな信じてたから、オカリンさんならいつかやってくれるって。
Because they all believed that you'd do it someday.
ね、その、シュタインズゲートだっけ？そこに導いてくれるって。
What was it? Steins Gate. They believed you'd lead us there.
I knew Kagari was trying to make me feel better, and that Miyuri and Daru would probably never blame me. But those words just made it worse. Because I'd given up on everything.
わあ、ごめんなさい。
Oh, I'm sorry.
Huh?
別に追い込むつもりとかじゃなかったんだけど。
I didn't mean to make you feel bad.
I must have had a pretty dark look on my
あ、いや
face.
俺の方こそすまない。でも俺はもう
No, I'm the one who should apologize. But I'm not.
ストップストップ。今日はそういうのはなし。せっかく外に出たんだから、もっと楽しい話しよう。ね。
Stop, stop. We're not here to talk about that today. I don't get a chance to go outside often. So let's talk about something more fun, okay?
Yeah. Kagari's mind was probably filled with memories of a painful war. If nothing else, those were her only memories as Shina Kagari. But she was still trying to make me feel better. Even if they weren't related by blood, she really was Miyuri's daughter. Still, it was hard to come up with something that was more fun to talk about.
ね、そうだな。せっかくだから、ママの若い頃の話を聞きたいな。
Oh, I know. I want to hear about what Mommy was like when she was young.
Well, she was actually really, really sad at the loss of her grandmother, and I had to intervene and make her my hostage. How do you explain that to her? I've got nothing.
マユリの
Miyuri.
若いって言っても、今も若いんだけど。
I mean, I know she's still young right now.
でも、もっと若い頃の話。例えば、人質の話とか。
But when she was younger, like when she was a hostage.
Oh well. Never mind, he's not had to explain it after all. That's one less awkward thing to go over.
マユリはそんなことまで君に話しているのか。
Miyuri told you about that.
私ね、オカリンさんの話をする時のママの顔が大好きなの。
Yeah, I love the look on her face when she talks about you.
とっても大切な宝箱をそーっと開けるみたいな、そんな顔っていうのかな。
It's like she's softly opening the lid of a treasure chest. Maybe.
その顔とその時の声と、それを思い出すだけですっごくあったかい気持ちになれるんだ。
Her face, her voice. Just remembering it makes me feel warm.
To Kagari, Miyuri must have felt like a star shining in a world of darkness and mud. A star shining brighter than anything else in the night sky.
別に大した話じゃないさ。
It was nothing, really.
大好きなおばあさんが亡くなってずっと悲しんでたあいつが今にも消えてしまいそうで。
Her grandmother died, and Miyuri really loved her. She looked so sad, like she was going to disappear any minute now.
それで口から出た痛々しいセリフだ。
And then I said something really silly.
お前は俺の人質だって
You're my hostage, right? Hearing it from another person made me so embarrassed that I wanted to go hide.
若かったんだ。若さゆえの過ちというやつさ。
I was young. The folly of youth, you know.
それでもその言葉はママを救ってくれたんだよね。
But those words saved Mommy, didn't they?
どうだろうな。
I don't know. If those words meant that I was holding her back, even all the way into the future.
オカリンさん
Ocarine?
そんなことより腹が減らないか。何か食べにでも行こう。
Hey, are you hungry? Let's go get something to eat.
うん。
Huh? Oh, yeah.
I started walking ahead in an effort to change the subject. Kagari seemed hesitant as she tried to keep up.
何か食べたいものあるか。
Is there anything you want to eat?
ね私は何でもいいかな。
Anything's fine.
そういうのが一番困るんだ。
That's always the answer that makes things the hardest, you know.
だってこの時代の食べ物って何でも美味しいんだもん。びっくりするくらい。
But everything in this era tastes so good. It's amazing.
未来じゃ何を食べてたんだ？
What did you eat in the future? Please don't be some kind of oatmeal slop, because you really would be ripping off the Matrix then.
お芋とかそういうのばっかりかな。
Mostly yams and stuff. Yam? What's a yam? I've heard of hams, but yams?
あ、でもママが毎日違う味付けしてくれてたから。
But Mommy would flavor them differently every day.
まゆりが？
Miyuri cooked?
Yep.
まゆりの料理はうまかったのか？
Was her cooking, well, good?
Yep.
そうか。
I see. The human animal was capable of growth, it seemed. Oh! Ooh, the human animal! Is that really how you see Mayashi, Okabe? Good luck explaining that one. Well, Yuki had been teaching her a lot lately. Maybe that had paid off.
だから私は何でもいいよ。
So anything's fine, really.
Alright then.
お帰りなさいませ、ご主人様。
I thought he was going to take her to the noodle bar, but I'm actually really chuffed to see Faris back again. Yes. The overly cutesy cat girl.
Welcome back, Meowster.
あ、オカリン、それにカガリニャンも。
Oh, Ocarine! And Kagarine-yan, too!
I'd chosen to stop by May Queen Nyanyan, and it was packed.
今日は混んでるな。
It's busy today.
そうなのにゃん。今日からアニメとのタイアップキャンペーンが始まったのにゃん。
I'm cringing as I'm about to say it, but here we go.
That's right! We just started an anime tie-in campaign, yeah?
Come to think of it, there was a sign out front with some anime characters on it. I'd seen those characters all over town, because it's going to be right at Kakaru, isn't it?
おかげで大繁盛で満席なのにゃん。
So the place is packed, yeah?
30分くらい待ってもらったら入れるようになるんやけど。
If you're willing to wait 30 minutes, I can seat you.
そういうことならまた今度にするよ。
We'll take a rain check then, okay?
もっとゆっくりできそうな時に出直してくるね。
Yeah, let's come back someday when it's a little slower.
せっかく来てもらったのにごめんに
Oh, for God's sake. They get worse!
My apologies, guys.
At least she's cute, I'll give her that. She's so cute you can kind of let it go, but oh my god.
My apologies.
Seriously, game? We left Mei Queen Yan Yan and walked around for a bit. But it was lunchtime and every place we saw was crowded.
すごいね。どこも人だらけ。
Wow, there's people everywhere.
まったくだ。わざわざ外で飯なんか食わずに家で済ませればいいもの。
That's right. They should all just eat at home instead of going outside. Well, that's all I've been doing for the last 6 months due to the current situation anyway, Okabe. Again, how did you know? Game, how did you know?
でもそれって私たちにも当てはまるよね。
But that goes for us too, doesn't it?
Now then, what's to do?
ラボで食べよっか。
Should we eat at the lab?
言っとくが、俺は料理なんてできないぞ。
Just so you know, I can't cook.
私も。
Me neither.
Then that was out of the question.
簡単なものでいいよ。私あれ食べてみたかったんだ。ほら、お湯かけて食べるヌードル的なの。
Yeah, I had a feeling we were going to go with this. Because he can't cook, he'll give her the noodles that Karisu loved. I just knew they were going to play that card.
It doesn't have to be anything complicated. I always wanted to try that one thing. You know, the noodles you put hot water on.
カップ麺か？あんなものでいいのか？
Instant noodles. You sure that's what you want?
未来だとね、工場がいっぱいなくなっちゃって、なかなか手に入らなくなっちゃったんだ。
In the future, a lot of factories go away, so it's a lot harder to get.
ダルおじさんがいつも食べたいって言ってて、ずっと気になってたの。
Uncle Daru was always talking about how he wanted some, so I wondered what they tasted like.
If they taste like British pot noodles, you'll be very disappointed. If she was okay with that, so was I. And I had just a thing. We bought a lot of instant noodles at the local convenience store. If there were any left, Daru would probably eat them.
すっごいね。カップ麺ってあんなにいっぱい種類あるんだ。
Wow, I didn't know there were so many different types of instant noodles.
今は未来と違って飽食の時代だからな。コンビニなんかでは毎週のように新商品が出る。
Unlike the future, there's all kinds of different ones now. Convenience stores get new stuff almost every week.
そうなんだね。ね、この中のどれを食べてもいいの？
You're right, so I can pick any of these.
Kagami looked inside the plastic bag I was
も
holding.
ちろん。好きなのを選んでくれ。
Of course, take your favorite.
それじゃどれにしよっかな。
Alright, which should I pick then?
She looked just like a child. The way she put her finger to her lips as her eyes shone.
私これにする。塩味の。
I'll have this one, salt flavor.
What? Instant noodles that taste purely of salt? You could have at least gone for the vegetable one or the seaweed one, or if you're a meat eater, the chicken one. Just salt? Why not just boil some water and pour some salt into that? What's the point?
なんなら2つでも3つでも食べてもいいぞ。
You can take 2 or 3 if you want. Don't do that, kids. Very bad for your arteries.
本当？
Really?
でも食べ過ぎちゃうと太っちゃうしな。
Nice one, Kagari. You're ahead of the curve.
Oh, but if I eat too many, I'll get fat.
This is physically painful to sit through. She had so many different expressions that I never got tired of watching them. I'm sorry, I can't take this line seriously. Let me try again. Take 2. She had so many different I'm sorry, I'm getting the bad rom-coms from the 1990s in my head every time I'm trying to read the line out. Come on, get it together, Swish. Let's try again. 3rd time. She had so many different expressions that I never got tired of watching them.
そういえばさっき他にも何か買ってたみたいだったけど。
Hey, it's done. Let's move on.
Hey, didn't you also get something else while we were there?
ああ、これだよ。
Yeah, this. I took something plastic out of the bag. Is it just me, or does that look like that rabbit is dead? So, look at the art style there. You've got the 2 button eyes, the crossed lips. That's one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. Is that supposed to teach kids to not use forks or something? That'll haunt them in their fucking sleep.
これって
Is this?
フォークだよ。箸じゃ食べづらいんじゃないかと思って。
A fork. I thought it might be hard to eat with
自
chopsticks.
分専用のものにしてラボに置いておけばいい。
You can keep it and leave it in the lab.
いいのもらっちゃって。
Is that really okay?
別に大したものじゃない。
It's nothing special, really. Teresa had always wanted her own fork. I knew this didn't make up for anything. Game, just please put a fork in this plot line. I just want it off my screen now. It's getting on my nerves. I just wanted to do it.
あ、やった。ありがとう。実はね、私お箸使うの苦手なんだ。ママからもいつも注意されてて。
Very fair point, Avian. Yes, maybe it's Sasami or Monami.
Don't forget your teacher! Yay! Thank you! Honestly, I'm not very good with chopsticks. Mommy always lectured me about it.
あ、これ先っぽにウサギさんがついてる。かわいい。
No, Kagari, it's not cute. It's nightmare fuel.
Oh, it's got a bunny on the end. How cute!
私専用のフォーク。私のもの、これで2つ目だ。
My own fork. This means I own 2 things now.
I mean, the thing that's creeping me out about this plot line is literally seeing a mash of Miyuri and Makise together. This is just wrong. I really don't like this. I really don't. So just going to take a quick stretch of my legs actually. 1 second. Do apologise, people. Okay, let's get back on the script. The other must have been the keychain that Miyuri gave her.
でもなんでかな。私これずっと欲しかったような気がする。
I don't know why, but it feels like I've always wanted this.
もしかしてこれもクリスさんの記憶なのかな。
Could this be one of Chris's memories?
さあ、どうだろうな。
I don't really know.
ねえオカリンさん。オカリンさんはクリスさんのことを好きだったんでしょ。
Hey, Okabe, you were in love with Kurisu, weren't you?
I almost choked at the unexpected change in direction of conversation.
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
いきなりなんでそうなる？
Where did that come from?
だって大切な人っていうのはそういうことでしょ？
Because that's what it means when someone's important to you, right?
で、どうなの？好きだったの？
So, is it true? Did you love her?
She seemed genuinely interested. I guess she was the right age for that. What? Since when is that an age thing? I've got the shittest love advice in the world, but age doesn't normally come into whether people want to know about it. Unless I'm very sheltered and don't know the outside world.
まああいつとの出会いが俺の人生を大きく変えたのは確かだな。
Well, it's true that meeting her changed my life.
ああ、ごまかした。ずる
You changed the subject. No fair.
い。でも、人生を変えるほどの大切な人か。なんか憧れるか
But I like the idea of someone being so important to you that they change your life.
She changed everything, past and future.
も。ねえ、オカリンさんから見て、マキセ・クリスさんってどんな人だったの？
So, Okarin, what kind of person do you think Makise Kurisu was?
気になるか？
Are you interested?
自分の頭の中にある記憶の持ち主のこと、もっと知りたいよ。
I want to know more about the person who owns these memories in my head.
俺が教えなくてもそれこそ記憶として頭の中にあるんじゃないのか？
You still have her memories even if I don't tell you, right?
それが自分で思い出そうとしても思い出せないんだよね。時々断片的に出てくるだけで。
But I can't force myself to remember them. Sometimes they just come out in fragments.
それも大抵難しいことばかり。
And it's all really complicated stuff.
だからもっと人間的な部分っていうの？そういう人となりとか教えてほしいなって。
So I want to know more about what kind of person she was, you know?
Kagari had never actually met Kurisu, had she? If she was sharing the memories of someone she'd never met, it would make sense if she wanted to know more about her.
あいつはマキセ・クリスはとにかく好奇心の強いやつだったよ。
She, Makise Kurisu, was a very curious girl.
ふむふむ。
I see, I see.
その上頑固で自分が正しいと思ったことは誰に何を言われても決して曲げることはなかった。
And she was stubborn. If she thought she was right, she would never back down, no matter what.
そうなんだ。
I see.
不遜で強がりでそのくせ寂しがり屋で。
She was arrogant and strong-willed, but also really lonely. The memories of all the conversations I had with Kurisu and everything I've gone through with her came flooding back into my mind. I talked to her just like this once before, come to think of it. Not in this world line, though.
それに怒ると怖かった。
And she was scary when she got mad.
怖い？どんな風に？
Scary? How?
回答して海馬に電極ぶっ刺すなんて物騒なこと言われたりしたよ。
She'd say stuff like, I'll cut open your skull and jam an electrode into your hippocampus. And then for some reason she ran a few steps forward and spun around. And then...
そんなこと言ってると回答して海馬に電極ぶっ刺すわよ。
You keep talking like that, and I'll cut open your skull and jam an electrode into your hippocampus. Oh!
今すぐ回答して海馬に電極ぶっ刺してやろうかしら。
Should I cut open your skull and jam an electrode into your hippocampus right now?
Kurisu...
なんてこんな感じ？
Was it like that?
Meanwhile, Queen jumping on the chat saying, finally made it. Good evening to you. How are you doing? You've caught us in the midst of a scene we're not liking very much. The undertones for this are very, very creepy. And I just want to get it over with. But I'm not skipping. We're going to sit through this. Yes, if I have to sit through it, so do you.
Okarin-san?
Okarin?
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, no. The memories of Kurisu inside Kagari. If they could be perfectly replicated inside Kagari's head, would Shina Kagari become Makise Kurisu? And you're tired, are you? I'm not surprised, Queen. Take a nice rest now. You've earned it. You've also missed me fluffing some lines because I couldn't take them seriously before, but it was all good fun. It was a stupid idea. Personality and memories were different things. But even so, if her memories turned into Kurisu's completely, if that happened...
Okarin-san...
Okarin?
Oh, I'll quickly save it here because I got the feeling we might be looking at a choice in a moment. Something about the artwork for this scene. I do actually kind of like the way they've used light here. If you notice how behind Okabe and Kagari, you've got the light being reflected off the glass, so they're actually taking away the background detail. It's a great way of drawing the eye into the image. The only thing that kind of ruins it is this guy here. I understand he's meant to represent the background, but it just doesn't... it kind of distracts from the actual quality of the image. And say that's kind of what creeps us out, Queen. It's Miyuri's daughter, and this is kind of implying that they're falling for each other, and that's just... ugh. Even though she's older, it's still creepy. I don't like it. Then again, I think Suzuhara's best girl. Do I really have a dog in this fight? I don't think I do. Huh? Kagari wandered back up to me and put her weight against me. It was so sudden I caught my breath. I could feel her warmth on my chest. Okay, I've started. I'm going to finish it. The feeling of her skin. It reminded me of Kurisu. Kurisu. The sound of her pained moan brought me back to reality. What's wrong, Kagari? My head. My head. Your head hurts. Kagari's body twitched in my arms. No! No! I don't want to go back! Save me! Someone! Someone get me out of here! What's wrong, Kagari? Save me! Mommy! Why won't she save me? Mommy! Mommy! Calm down! Calm down, Kagari! I grabbed her hands to keep her from struggling any more. The people on the street were staring at me, but I didn't have time to think about it. It's okay. It's okay. Okarin?
歩けるかとにかくラボに戻ろう
Can you walk? Let's get back to the lab. She finally calmed down but seemed to still be in pain. I let her lean on my shoulder as I took her back to the lab.
Yeah. Avian, I feel your pain on this one. But let's watch. Once we got back to the lab, she went to sleep and didn't wake up. Her headache seemed to have calmed down, but sometimes she would still moan. I contacted Miyuri and the others, and they were probably going to arrive soon, but the words she'd said before. Save me! Someone! Someone get me out of here! Save me, Mommy! Why won't you save me? Mommy! Mommy! And I had a feeling that might happen as well, Avian. I had a feeling that she'd either do a runner or actually attack him. Because it seems to be too reminiscent of what happened in 1998. What was that? Were those fragments of her lost memories? If that was the case, then she really was. Okabe! Just as I went to look at the clock, the door opened and Miyuri and Lukaku came running in. Is Kagami okay?
ああ、今はよく眠っている。
Yeah, she's sleeping now. I'm so glad. She must have heard us talking because Kagari's eyes slowly opened. Kagari.
あれここどこ
Huh? Where am I? She looks around, afraid.
落ち着いて。ここはラボですよ。
Calm down. You're in the lab.
ラボ日本
Oh dear. It would appear we've had another memory lapse episode. Just like that. Like a bolt of lightning. The lab? Japan?
そうだよ。日本の秋葉原だよ。
That's right. Akihabara, Japan.
日本私日本に
Japan? I'm in Japan?
ああそっか私交換留学で
Oh, that's right. That exchange program. Boom. Who was it who came on the exchange program to Japan? Makasai.
そういえば公演の準備は
I need to get ready for the lecture, don't I?
留学
Exchange program?
様子が変です。
She's acting strange.
ねえおかり
Hey, Okabe! Exchange program. Lecture. Those were Kurisu's memories.
あれ論文はパパに見てもらおうと思って頑張って書いたんだけど
Huh? My paper! Where's my paper? I worked really hard on it so I could show it to Dad! Now, that memory is obviously from the period where she dies. So, if that memory's got into her brain somehow, if that's come from Amadeus, Kurisu never shared that with Amadeus, did she? Unless I'm misremembering, I don't believe she explained that. The Amadeus data only went back to, when was it, like the February? And it hadn't been updated. We are, however, in a new world line. So let's not rule it out. But that continuity doesn't fit.
落ち着け、かがり。それは君の記憶じゃない。
Calm down, Kagami. Those aren't your memories. Kagami looked up at me in a daze.
オカリンさん。
Okabe!
そう、お前は椎名かがりだ。牧瀬クリスじゃない。
That's right. Your name is Shina Kagari, not Makise Kurisu.
かがり。私は椎名かがり。
Kagari. My name is Shina Kagari. You say that, Queen, but I'm not so sure she was. Wasn't it like back in the February time of the previous year? And it didn't obviously appear until that fateful day in July 28th, and she finished the paper. I suppose she would have been working on it, but I don't think... I remember somewhere she didn't mention it. But then again, I don't know. Maybe she did dump the data. And now she's passed out. Yeah, I'm not voice acting that.
ルカ子、悪いが、かがりのことを頼む。
Lukako, sorry. Can you handle this?
はい。
Yes. Kagari was confused for a while after that, but she gradually started to calm down again. Once it seemed safe to do so, I'd taken her back to Yanabayashi Shrine. But maybe we weren't going to be able to look after Kagari ourselves after all. Maybe we should take her to a hospital. No. Hard no. Do not let the doctors get hold of Kagari with Kurisu's memories. Do not do that. Was it my ego that was stopping me from doing that? I kept thinking about that as I walked along.
今日はマユシーも一緒に泊まることにするね。
Mayushi's going to stay over tonight, okay?
そうしてもらえると助かる。
Yeah, that would be a big help. It'll make Kagari feel a lot
な
better.
るべく普段と同じように接してやってくれ。
Try to treat her like you normally would, as much as possible.
わかった。
Yeah, okay. I told her to contact me right away if anything came up, then headed back to the lab.
かがり、ひどいの？
Is Kagari in bad shape? That was the first thing Suzuha said to me when I walked through the door. She and Maho were sitting on the sofa. I told her about the situation already via line. Had you? Oh, okay. So just a quick look through this. There we go. Would have been nice to see that rather than check it after the data, but hey ho. But they were still worried anyway, probably.
今は落ち着いてるが、一時はかなり混乱していた。
She's calmed down now, but she was very confused for a while.
やっぱりクリスの記憶？
Is it Carisu's memories?
ここまで来ると、もう間違いないだろう。
Yeah. At this point, I don't think there's any doubt. I still didn't know why, but inside Kagari's mind were Makise Kurisu's memories. The question was how to deal with this problem. There were limits to what we could do on our own. The most we could hope to do was figure out how this had happened. That wouldn't be a real solution. To really fix this, we needed to get her back to normal. To erase Kurisu's memories and restore the original Kagari. And for that we needed the help of a specialist. Hyajo Maho was a specialist in that sense. There was nobody else who knew as much about memories and the workings of the brain. But there was a problem. We still hadn't told her that Kagari was from the future. In this world line, Maho didn't know Suzuha and the others that well. Of course, she didn't know about the future or the time machine. Was it okay to tell her?
ねえ、あなたたちはかがりさんとはどうやって知り合ったの？
So you see, this is the problem. If you want to get her on board, you're going to definitely need to get Maho to do it, because as you pointed out in the chat, Avian, don't give it a Lexkinen. No, 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 no. Leskinen is out.
Hey, how did you guys meet Kagami?
漆原さんのところに来る前は、彼女はどこで何をしていたのかしら？
I wonder what she was up to before she came to Urishibara's house.
かがりは千葉の県境で倒れていたところを助けられたんだ。
Kagari was found at the prefectural border in Chiba.
意識を取り戻した時点で、それ以前の記憶はなかった。
When she woke up, she didn't have any memories of what had happened before.
That was the same as the last world line.
でも、子供の頃の記憶はあるんでしょ？鈴葉さんは彼女と知り合いだったのよね。
But she had her memories of when she was a kid, right? You knew her, didn't you?
子供の頃の彼女はどこで何をしていたの？
Where was she when she was a kid?
Suzuha looked at me silently. Oh, I've got a message online from... No, that's my phone. Ah, okay. Yep.
Is Kagari okay?
Right, I'm gonna go with my... I'm going to definitely do something answer. It's the kind of thing Mayuri likes to be reassured by. I'll do something.
Okay, Ocarine, thanks.
Yep, just leave it to me. Oh, so cute. She felt responsible for what Kagari was going through right now, probably. I could see on her face that she wanted to bring back the old Kagari somehow.
おじさん、どうする？ヒヤジョーさんに話しても。
Uncle, what do we do? Can we tell her?
Maho was a scientist. If we told her the truth, she'd be sure to take an interest in time travel. She might start working on a time machine. This was a big risk. But
かがりを救う方法を突き止めるためにはやむを得ないか。
if you want to save Kagari, we don't have a choice, I guess. I thought for a moment, then nodded. My priority right now was helping Kagari. Suzuha nodded back and then turned to face Maho.
今から話すことを知っているのはごく一部の人間しかいない。
Only a very few people know what I'm about to tell you.
だからヒヤジョーさんも決して他の誰かに漏らしたりはしないで。
So make sure you don't tell anyone, okay?
なんなの急に。
What's all this about?
Maho seemed overwhelmed by the sudden chill emanating from Suzuha. But Suzuha kept talking.
冗談に聞こえるかもしれないけど、冗談なんかじゃないんだ。
It may seem like a joke, but it isn't.
約束できるか否か。答えは2つに1つだ。
Can you promise or not? Pick one.
Yep, Suzuha, being best girl as usual, laying the smack down and calling it like it is. She's so amazing. Maho looked at me, hesitant. But she must have seen something in my face.
わかったわ。誰にも言わない。約束する。
Fine. I won't tell anyone. I promise.
She nodded.
それじゃあ、まずはさっきの質問の答え。子供の頃、私とかがりがどこで何をしていたか。
Alright. I'll start by answering your first question. Where were Kagari and I when she was a kid?
私たちは第三次世界大戦が終わった後の未だ各地で内戦が続く戦時下に暮らしていた。2036年のね。
We were living in 2036, after the Third World War ended, and civil wars raged on everywhere.
Maho's mouth hung open for a second, but soon her cheeks flushed with anger.
からかわないで。人が真剣に聞いてるのに。
Don't make fun of me! I'm being serious here!
Suzuha remained silent. Her eyes were ice cold and staring straight into
ヒ
Maho's.
アジョーさん、鈴葉が最初に忠告したはずだ。これは作り話でも冗談でもない。
Hyajo, Suzuha warned you at the start. This isn't a fictional story, and it isn't a joke. I mean, is that an intentional fourth wall break right there just to annoy me? And make me take up arms to protect the fourth wall?
鈴葉とかがりは25年後の未来からやってきた存在なんだ。タイムマシンでな。
Suzuha and Kagari came from 25 years in the future in a time machine.
タイムマシン、そんなものが作れるわけが。
In a time machine? There's no way you could make...
その理論の大元を作ったのがマキセ・クリスだと言ってもか。
Even if I told you it was Makise Kurisu who came up with the basic theory. The second I said Kurisu's name, the anger vanished from her face.
そんなの。
That can't...
わかった。聞くだけは聞くわ。
Fine. I'll listen to what you have to say. Suzuha and I told her almost everything. How I met Kurisu. About the D-mails. What happened in the Alpha World Line. The development of the time machine. Mayuri's death. Attractor field theory. What happened in 2046. What was going on with Kagari. The one thing I didn't tell her was the truth about Kurisu's death.
とりあえず話を整理させて。
Just give me a moment to process all that.
つまり鈴葉さんとかがりさんは岡部さんに未来を変えてもらうために2036年からやってきたと、そういうのね。
What you're telling me is that Suzuha and Kagari came here from the year 2036 to have Okabe change the future, right?
そうだよ。
That's right. Maho sank into the sofa and sighed.
岡部さんにそんな大層なことができるとは思えないわ。
I can't imagine Okabe being capable of pulling something like that off.
たった一人の人間に全人類の命運がかかっているなんて。
I can't believe the fate of all humanity rests on a single person.
俺だって無理だと思っている。
I don't think I can do it either. Yeah, the moping Okabe really isn't much fun, is he, people? He's really not the same character. I'd given up, actually, on the entire future. Apologies, I felt it coming, but I couldn't stop it. Sorry, guys.
到底信じられない話ではあるけど。
It's not really believable, but...
でもあなたの言ったその理論なら確かにタイムリープは可能かもしれない。
But the theory you described might allow for a time leap. Yes.
それに何よりその理論の元を作ったのはクリスなんでしょ。
And more than anything, it was Kurisu who came up with that theory, right?
だったら検証に値するわ。
Then it's worth looking into.
だってあの子は天才だもの。
Because she was a genius. Her words together seemed like a mixture of admiration, jealousy, and envy.
信じるんだな。
So you believe it, yeah?
その代わり今度見せてほしいわね、そのタイムマシンを。
In exchange, I want to let you to let me see that time machine.
乗ってきたって言うならあるんでしょ、どこかに。
If you came here in it, it still has to be around, right?
ある。すぐ近くにね。
It is. It's very close.
検証作業は必要だけど、とりあえずあなたたちの話を信じることにする。だからあなたたちも私に信じさせるよう協力して。
I need to look into this, but I've decided to believe you for now. So I want you to help me to believe.
わかった。
Alright. There was no hesitation in her voice.
ありがとう。
Thank you. If Suzuha said it was okay, it wasn't my place to speak. If Maho was going to help, that was all that mattered.
話を係の件に戻そう。
Let's get back to Kagari.
さっきも言ったように、はぐれたのは彼女が10歳の頃。
Like I just told you, she separated from Suzuha when she was 10. So as we all know, she separated from Suzuha, age 10, having been briefly bolted, grabbed a gun, and then disappeared. So who triggered that switch, and why? That's still the unsolved link, isn't it?
And そしてそれ以降、先月になって見つかるまでの足取りは全くつかめていない。
And we have no idea where she was until she was found last month.
俺はその間、彼女が海外にいたんじゃないかと考えている。
I'm thinking she may not have been in Japan. For how long, I had no way of knowing. It may have been the whole time, or perhaps only a week.
オカリンおじさんの仮説だとビクトル・コンドリア大学にいたことになるね。
Uncle Okabe's hypothesis is that she was at Victor Kandria University.
ああ。そして何らかの形でアマデウスと接触した。
Yeah. And that in some form or another, she made contact with Amadeus. The look on Maho's face was one between acceptance and resignation. She sighed loudly. A copy of Carisu's memory data had been saved for use by Amadeus. This data was the only possible source for the memories within Kagari's head. Her words today had only strengthened my theory. Exchange program, lecture. These fragments of memories were all from before she'd come to Japan. The memory data had been last saved just before she'd come to America. That was another match.
この前レスキネン教授に確認してみたんだけど、クリスの記憶データは凍結されたまま誰もアクセスできないはずだと言っていたわ。
I just checked with Dr. Leskinen a while ago. Carice's memory data has been sealed away, and no one can access it, he said.
ただそれが事実かどうかを確かめる権限は今の私にはない。
But I don't have the authority to check that for myself.
それにプロジェクトが凍結される前に何者かがデータを持ち出したことだって考えられるし。
And it's possible someone took the data before the project was shut down.
持ち出すことのできる人間はアマデウスの研究に携わっていた人間に限定されるんじゃないか。
The only people who could have done that were people involved with the Amadeus research, right?
そうとは限らない。外部からサーバーに侵入すれば誰にだってできることよ。
Not necessarily. Anybody could do it if they hacked the server. Anyone was an exaggeration. Your average person wouldn't have a clue. You'd have to be a super hacker.
問題は目的ね。岡部さんの仮説が正しいとしてなぜそんなことをする必要があったのか。
The question is why? If your theory's right, why would they want to do that? The most obvious possibility was that someone wanted access to Makise Karisu's mind. But Amadeus should suffice for that. There was no need to move her memories into another person's brain. And why would they want her mind that badly anyway? She was a genius, sure, but she'd only published a single paper. Yes, but what did Kagari with Makise's memories talk about? Her paper. The one which has been discarded by the Russians. And we know that that paper is correct. There was no reason to think it would be that important to anyone. Unless...
もしクリスの記憶の中にタイムマシン理論の基礎があることを何者かが知ったとしたら。
What if someone knew that the basic theory of time travel was locked in Karisu's memories? Someone out there would want it.
でもクリスがその理論に行き着いたのはあなたの言う別の世界線なんでしょ？
But Karisu arrived at that theory in the other world line you were telling me about, right?
中鉢論文を知ってるか？
Have you ever heard of Dr. Nakabachi's paper?
中鉢？ それってロシアに亡命した？
Nakabachi? The guy who sought asylum in Russia.
そうだ。
That's right.
例の論文には私も軽く目を通したけど、とても論文と言えるものではなかったわ。
I took a look at it, and calling it a paper is being way too kind.
Yes, Avian, like someone that we know. Mm-hmm.
あれは劣化コピーだと俺は考えている。オリジナルが別に存在するんだ。
I think it's an inferior copy. And there's another version, an original.
一体何の話？
What are you talking about?
ドクター中鉢の本名は牧瀬正一。クリスの実の父だ。
Dr. Nakabachi's real name is Makise Shoichi. He's Karisu's real father. I thought back to what I saw that day.
私も考えてみたの。タイムマシンは作れるのかどうか。
I've also been thinking about whether it's possible to create a time machine.
読んで。パパの意見を聞かせてほしい。
Read this. I want your opinion, Dad.
悪くない内容だ。
It's not bad.
本当？
Really?
この論文はパパと共同署名でもいいと私は思って。
I think maybe we could publish it under both our names.
学会には出すな。これは私が預かっておく。
Don't publish this. I'll take it.
そういえば、
Come to think of it,
クリスが日本に行く前に言ってたの。父親に会うって。新しい理論の発表会をするらしくて、その招待状が来たって。
I remember her saying before she left Japan that she was going to see her dad. He was announcing a new theory, and she'd been given an invitation.
That day, Nakabachi had stolen Karisu's paper. And after he'd gone to Russia, he published his own paper. I hadn't seen it myself. Whenever I thought about it, I always thought about what I'd seen that day, and what happened right after, so I'd been avoiding it. But I'd heard the professors at school talking about it. It was so terrible that it becomes something of a running gag. But if it was just a bad copy of an original, if what had been published was just Nakabachi's own reinterpretation of Karisu's theory, and her original still existed somewhere else... That's right. Karisu had written the original theory. It had to be better than that. She'd actually succeeded in making the time leap machine.
それじゃあ、その論文の存在を知った誰かがクリスの記憶からタイムマシンに関する理論を取り出そうとしてるってこと？
Then you mean someone found out about this paper, and is trying to get the theory needed to make a working time machine out of Karisu's brain?
第三次世界大戦が起きたきっかけは EU とロシアによるタイムマシン競争の過熱なんだ。
The cause of the Third World War was the intensification of the race for the time machine between the EU and Russia.
そこにアメリカまで横やりを入れて収拾がつかなくなった。
Even America started to get involved, and it got completely out of hand.
まさに時代は歴史通りに動き出している。
Things are proceeding exactly as history said they would.
Those people had attacked the lab in the last world line. Tsunoji had said they weren't Japanese, but they were military. Some military wanted Karisu's time machine theory. That would explain why they chose to download her memories into Kagari's mind. And that's why I'm going to make a quick save. Let's find out what's in this one then. It was lime, wasn't it? No. There we are.
I'm worried about Kagari.
Don't worry, he'll be fine.
Just hearing you say that makes me feel so much more relieved. Thanks.
Oh, God. Daru really went over the top with these sticker emojis, didn't he? Leave it to me.
Yes.
Amadeus would never talk about something that it didn't want to talk about. But what about a human? There were truth serums and torture methods. A human could be forced to talk, maybe.
Maybe they'd done that to Kagari. Of course, this was just a guess. But if it was a military that tried to kidnap Kagari, it was quite possible.
記憶のデータを脳に移植するか。
Moving memory into a brain, huh?
可能なんだろう、今の技術でも。
It's possible, right? Even with modern technology.
クリスはそれを成し遂げた。それはクリスが研究していたことの応用だと言っていた。
Kurisu succeeded in it, and she said it was an application of her own research.
ええ、そうね。可能よ。
Yeah, that's right. It's possible.
それに、もともとアマデウスはそのために作られたものなんだし。
And that's what Amadeus was originally created to do. Medical applications, wasn't it? Leskinen had talked about it at a seminar, and Maho had interpreted. In this world line, Amadeus had been shut down and the seminar had never happened though. Maho gave me the same explanation I'd heard before. I was right. And memory data transplants were theoretically possible.
クリスの考え出したタイムリープマシンだってその応用だわ。
Karisu's time leap machine is another application of this.
もっともそのどちらも自分の頭の中に自分の記憶を移植するという目的で作られたものだがな。
Of course, both of them were intended to move the memories back into the original person's head. And Karisu had said that even that was dangerous.
じゃあ他人の脳に別人の記憶を移植するとどうなる？
Then what would happen if you tried to move it into another person's head?
単純に OS の違う PC のハードディスクに別のデータをコピーというわけにはいかないと思う。
I don't think it would be as simple as copying into a hard drive on a PC of a different OS. OS will stand for operating system, I reckon, but let's just double check it. Yep, I was right. Basic software of a computer that controls the entire system and allows other programs to operate in parallel. In other words, Windows, Linux, whatever system Apple uses, all that jazz. Ubuntu, and many more.
そもそも人間の脳のキャパシティがどれくらいあるのかすら分かっていないの。
We don't even know how much capacity the human brain has.
容量的なことだけを言えば20歳の女性2人分の記憶くらいは余裕で保存できるというデータはあるけど。
Oh, that's a bad typo mistake, isn't it? That's very badly formatted. In terms of strict storage capacity, it should easily have enough room to store the memories of two 20-year-old girls. Dara had once told me that the brain's storage capacity was 3.24 terabytes. What? Only 3.24 terabytes? No. That's way too low.
だけど問題はそれ以外の部分。
But the problem goes beyond that.
岡部さんの言う通り、自分自身の頭に記憶をダウンロードすることすらまだ実用段階には至っていない。
Like you said, we're not even at the point of successfully downloading memories back into the original brain.
それなのに他人の記憶をとなるといつ齟齬を起こしてもおかしくないわ。
If you try to copy those memories into someone else's brain, it could cause serious inconsistency problems.
そして実際に今そのエラーは起きつつある。
In fact, we're starting to see those errors start to happen right now.
このまま放っておくとカガリはどうなる？
What will happen to Kagari if we don't do anything?
ひょっとしてマキセ・クリスになってしまうのか？
Will she turn into Makise Kurisu?
記憶と人格は別物よ。脳の中で記憶を扱うのは海馬と大脳皮質。一方で人格は前頭前野の働きによって形成されている。
Memories and personality are different things. Memories are controlled by the hippocampus and cerebral cortex. Personality is constructed by the prefrontal cortex.
それらの働きはお互い密接につながっている部分も大きいわ。
The functions of the two are intricately connected. Different parts of the brain had different functions, but they weren't completely independent. Memories probably played a huge role in forming your personality.
2つの記憶が混在することで脳に対する負担もかなり大きくなってるはず。
The mix of two sets of memories is probably putting a huge stress on her brain.
このまま放っておいた場合、最悪かがりさんの人格は崩壊を。
If we don't do something, it could cause her entire personality to disintegrate.
Suzuha slammed her fist into her knees in frustration.
それを防ぐ手立てはあると思うか？
Is there some way to stop it?
かがりさんの頭の中からクリスの記憶を取り除くしかないでしょうね。
The only way is to remove Carisu's memories from Kagari's mind.
できそうか？
Can you do it?
脳のデータが解析できれば、あるいはでもできるようになるとしても何年先か。
If I can analyze the data in her brain, yes. But how many years away that is, I don't know.
Suzuha's fists were clenched so tightly I could almost hear the sound. I could tell she was blaming herself for letting Kagari run away.
一つ手があるとするなら、
If there was a
もう
way,
一度過去のかがりさんの記憶を上書きすることかしら。
it would be to overwrite her past memories again.
もう一度記憶を？
Overwrite her memories?
そもそもかがりさんの記憶を操作した人間はかがりさんの記憶を残すつもりはなかったと思うの。
I don't think whoever altered her memories intended to leave her original ones.
She might have been right. Putting two sets of memories in one mind was just asking for problems. Which means that the experiments they'd done on her had resulted in a different outcome than they'd intended. In a sense, they had failed.
だったらもう一度かがりさんの記憶をきちんとした装置で脳に上書きしてあげれば、あるいは元通りにできるかもしれない。
So if we were able to fix her, overwrite her memories once more, with proper equipment, it might fix her.
しかしそのためにはかがりの記憶データがないと。
But we don't have that memory data.
バックアップが取ってあることを期待するしかないわね。
We just have to hope they make backups.
装置はどうする？簡単に見つかればいいけど。
What about the equipment? It'd be great if we could just find it somewhere, but
ないなら作ればいいわ。
If it doesn't exist, we can make it.
そんな簡単に？
it's not that easy.
でもクリスは作れたんでしょ？
But Karisu made it, right?
Huh? Oh, right. It had to work similarly to the time leap machine.
だったら私にも作れる。作ってみせる。
Which means I can. No. I will make it too.
I might be able to help with that.
問題は記憶データがどこにあるかね。こればっかりは何とかして突き止めるしか方法がないわ。
The question is where to find her memory data, though. We just have to find it somehow.
But there simply wasn't enough information. All we knew was that it was non-Japanese Western military, and that information wasn't solid either. If anyone held the key, it was the woman in the motorcycle suit. I thought of her name and quickly brushed it from my mind.
何かいい方法でも思いついた？
Any good ideas?
いや、なんでもない。
None. It wasn't Amane Yuki. It couldn't be.
Eh?
We talked late into the night trying to come up with a way to find out who had done the experiments on Kagari. But even though we spent a lot of time on it, none of us had any good ideas. Are you serious, guys? Come on! Who else brought Leskinen and his crew? The only other options are CERN, the Russians. I'm sorry, that just doesn't make sense. Pardon me, it's a quick stretch of my legs. I do apologise, people. Let's say this reminds me in a way of a game in the Persona series. I'm not going to say any spoilers here, but there's a point where you have to brainstorm and it's possible to fail, and to this day I've never understood why anyone would. I'm not saying any more on that, by the way, not spoiling it. Oh, now we're changing to Maho's perspective and we're on the train. Okay.
I'll use this one. I'm actually running out of slots, so I might have to go back around.
I can't believe it!
でも本当なのよね。
No, but it's true, isn't it?
On the train back, Hiajo Maho was having trouble controlling her excitement. Two girls who said they came from the future. And Okabe Rintaro's story about the time leap machine. Normally, she'd never believed them. But if Makise's Kurisu mind had made these things possible, she could accept them. Kurisu was a genius. She just might be capable of it. To Maho, Kurisu seemed capable of anything. And most of all, she'd seen it for herself. On the way back from the lab, Suzuha had taken her to the top of the radio building and showed her a real time machine. It was night, and she didn't have a lot of time to look at it closely, but she could tell at a glance that it wasn't made with modern technology. Honestly, she wanted to start work on making another one tomorrow. No, right now even. But she had something to do first. The time leap machine that Kurisu had made. She needed to make an improved version. That meant she was going to be practically living at Okabe's lab for a while. So she decided to get what she needed from the office in Wako City. From outside the building, she could see that the lights were still on despite the late hour.
Maho!
Maho! As soon as she got inside, Dr. Leskinen rushed over, his face pale because... Do you see a lot of scattered papers around here? It seems the break-in has happened again.
何これ?
What happened here?
The room had clearly been ransacked. Of course, the place barely had anything in it to begin with, so with a quick glance it was hard to see what had changed. But Maho and Dr. Leskinen's desks had been clearly searched. The drawers had been locked, but they had been broken and their contents spilled out. Dr. Reyes hadn't brought much of anything, fortunately, and so she'd escaped with very little damage, but her drawers had been dumped out too.
これは何があったんですか?
What happened here?
何者かが侵入したらしいんだ。
Someone broke in.
泥棒ってことですか?
A thief?
私が来た時にはこの状態だったの。もしかしたら企業スパイの類かもしれないわね。
It was like this when I got here. It might be espionage.
こんな何もないところで?
In an empty office like this?
Wouldn't it make more sense to hit the Riken Institute next door? Only a few people even knew this office existed to begin with. Suddenly, Okabe's words began to take on a new meaning for her. Could this have something to do with what he'd said? Was a secret war over the time machine already beginning?
とにかくマホ、君も何か盗まれていないか調べたまえ。
Anyway, Maho, I want you to see if anything's been stolen from your things.
はい。
Okay.
どうだい？何か取られていたものはあったかい？
Well, was anything taken?
いえ、私の方は何も。
No, nothing of mine.
Now, the thing is, Maho should be suspicious of the fact that he's got his lab coat on. If they've come in and found the place ransacked, he's come into the scenes and he's not had his lab coat on. So that should be getting her suspicious. Reyes we have seen wearing her lab coat in here, but we haven't seen Leskinen. She should be suspicious of that. Of course, I could be reading too much into it, but I'm suspicious. She checked the desk and the drawers, and couldn't find a single thing missing.
教授たちは?
What about you two?
こちらも何も盗まれてはいないようだわ。
I don't seem to have lost anything either.
PC の中も確かめてみたが、第三者にアクセスされた形跡は見られない。
I looked at my computer, but I don't see any trace of access by a third party.
本当に何も取られてないかい?
You're sure nothing was stolen?
はい。
Yes.
そういえばマホ、 君のノート PC はどうした？もしかして盗まれたんじゃないか？
Come to think of it, Maho, what about your laptop? Was that stolen?
ああ、あれならホテルに置いてあるから大丈夫です。
Oh, I left that at the hotel. It should be fine.
そうか、ならいいんだが。
I see. I hope you're right. Except she's going to be wrong because the hotel will have been hit as well. That's happened before.
どうする？警察に連絡する？
What do we do? Call the police?
何も取られていないなら、ことを荒立てる必要はないのかもしれないな。
If nothing was stolen, it might not do us any good to make a fuss. Yeah, and that's suspect as well. If you're a victim of a crime, why aren't you reporting it? That doesn't make sense to me.
そうね。少し様子を見ましょうか。
You're right. Maybe we should wait and see what happens. Maho wasn't sure that was a good idea, but she could understand that going to the police would be a big hassle, especially since they weren't Japanese to begin with. And more than anything, Dr. Leskinen probably didn't want to lose time that could be spent on research. The same was true of Maho, too.
教授、実はお願いがあるんです。
Actually, Professor, I need a favor.
Dr. Leskinen agreed to give her a vacation much more readily than she expected. Maybe coming to the office over the New Year's had paid off. Now she'd be able to focus on the time leap machine. Once she got back to her hotel, she quickly got her things ready. She wasn't checking out of the hotel, but she needed clothes and other things so she could stay at the lab for a while.
よし。あとは。
Okay, the last thing I need is...
Once she finished packing her bag, she grabbed another bag that was placed next to it. And is that going to contain Karisu's laptop? And are we going to see Kagari knowing the password? It was a laptop and portable hard drive that she'd gotten from Karisu's mother after her death. She tried many times to crack the password, but never managed to succeed. She knew that she wouldn't have the time to do anything with it, but she still didn't want to leave it here.
そうだわ。確か彼。
That's right, wasn't he?
After she made one last check of her things and got ready to leave the room, an idea came to her.
Not a bad idea if I do say so myself. Maybe this is what Karisu wanted.
She quickly shook her head and chased the idea from her mind. Karisu would get mad at her. Life and death were like a binary, 0 and 1. You could be one or the other. There was no will that existed after death. If it existed at all, it existed inside the brain. And now we're back in control of Okabe. Do another quick save while I can. Several days passed and I still had no idea who had planted the memories in Kagari's head. I went all the way out to talk to the priest who'd found her, and even questioned the locals in the surrounding area. But I had no luck. Suzuha seemed to be doing her own research. She hadn't been back to the lab since then. She was in touch with Dara at regular intervals, so I didn't think she was in danger. Out of curiosity, is there anything online? Nope, there's no chats whatsoever. I asked Tenoji and Moeka again, but neither of them seemed to have any luck. In this world line, the lab hadn't even been attacked, which meant they might be up to something else. Even if they were, I had no way of imagining what it was. But I was sure that someone had kidnapped a young Kagari, Shina, and experimented on her, and only recently had she escaped. They had to be planning something, and I was sure it was bad. We didn't have time to wait for them to act, but without any clues, there was nothing we could do. My mind kept going in circles, and I kept getting more frustrated and nervous with every minute.
すみません、真帆先輩。私のために。
Sorry to make you do this for all for me, Maho.
あと少しでできそうだから。それにこれは私のためでもあるんだし。
No, it's almost done, and I'm doing it for me too.
Maho staggered out of the development room, sank into the sofa and smiled sleepily. There were dark spots under her eyes. For the last few days she'd been working on the device without any sleep. Her work needed to pay off soon, as fast as possible.
それにしても携帯電話を使うだなんて普通考えないわ。たとえ考えついたとしても実行に移そうなんて思わない。
Anyway, I never would have come up with the idea of using a cell phone. And even if I had, I never would have actually tried it.
携帯は離すときにどうしても受話器をこめかみ付近に近づける必要があるからな。
When you're talking on a cell phone, you always need to put it to your temples, you know.
こめかみ周辺には大脳前頭葉と大脳側頭葉がありますからね。
That's where the frontal and temporal lobes are.
側頭葉の海馬傍回が記憶を貯蓄する場所だと考えると妥当な判断かと。
If you consider that the parahippocampal gyrus in the temporal lobe is where memories are stored, it makes sense, I think. I think I pronounced that correctly, I'm not sure. Parahippocampal gyrus. Try saying that 4 times fast.
問題はどうやって記憶を圧縮させるかよね。
The question is how we compress the memories, isn't it?
それについてはもっか僕が毎日徹夜で頑張ってるわけだが。
I'm working day and night to make that happen.
すまないな、ダル。
Sorry, Daru.
しかもハッキングがここからだって絶対にバレないようになんて言うから大変だっつうの。他のバイトだってあるのにさ。
And you absolutely insisted on not letting them find out I'm hacking in from this lab, so it's extra hard. I've got other work to do too, you know. To compress the memories, we needed CERN's LHC, no matter what. That one took a lot of thought. If we made an enemy out of CERN, that tragedy I'd gone through before would repeat. But the main reason that CERN had attacked us was the D-mails we sent to the past. If it weren't for that, they probably wouldn't have bothered. And since we weren't sending D-mails, CERN will probably never even detect us. Probably. Wow, Queen. Okay, you're gonna make me do it. You're gonna make me do it. Say parahippocampal gyrus 4 times fast. There, I've been more specific. I can wait. Fortunately, Suzuha had the IBM 5100 that we needed for the hack. Things were coming together better than I expected.
にしてもさ、オカリン、彼女ほんと別人みたいなんですけど。
You know, Ocarine, she's almost a completely different person now. You're right. I nodded at Daru. For the past few days, more of Karisu's memories have been invading Kagari's mind. Lately, she'd even started discussing complex technical subjects with Maho. She was acting just like Karisu used to when she lived in America. At first, Maho seemed put off, but she eventually adapted. Maho probably wanted to get the details about the device from Karisu, so it seemed to be helping.
それにしてもこんなラボで本当にタイムリープマシンを作ってたなんて実際にタイムマシンを目にした今でも信じられないわ。
You know, even after seeing the time machine, I still can't believe you made the time leap machine in a lab like this.
でも人間の記憶を丸ごとデータ化して過去に飛ばすなんて発想はすごいですよね。さすがは真帆先輩。
The idea of digitizing human memories and sending them to the past is an amazing one. You're brilliant, Maho.
その言葉そっくりそのままあなたに返してあげるわ。
I'll say the exact same thing to you.
はい。
Huh?
あなたは天才で所詮私はサリエリだったってことよ。
You're a genius, and in the end, I'm just Salieri.
Watching the two of them, it was easy to fool myself into thinking it was Maho and Karisu talking.
なあ、かがり。
Hey, Kagari.
そうだ、アマデウスで思い出しましたけど、プロジェクトはどうなってるんですか？
Oh, right. I wanted to ask about Amadeus. What happened in the project?
残念ながら凍結されたわ。
Unfortunately, it was shut down.
かがり
Kagari.
凍結？どうして？もしかしてレスキネン教授が決めたんですか？
Shut down? Why? Did Dr. Leskinen decide to do that?
私にもわからないわ。教授はもっと上からの指示だって言ってたけど。
I don't know. The professor said the orders came from higher up.
そんな、せっかく順調に言ってたのに。
But it was going so well.
なあクリス
Hey, Kurisu.
はい？
Yes?
あれ？私、今。
Huh? What was I just...
君はかがり椎名かがりだよな。
You're Kagari. Sheena Kagari, right?
椎名かがり。
Sheena Kagari?
そう。私は椎名かがり。私は。
That's right. I'm... Sheena Kagari. I'm...
Kagari suddenly put her hands up to her head, afraid.
でも、それじゃあ、これは。この頭の中にある記憶は何？
But then... What are these memories in my head?
それはマキセクリスの記憶だ。君の記憶じゃない。
They're Makise Kurisu's memories, not yours.
そんなこと言われてもわかんないよ。
I don't know what that means!
Kagari is acting completely different now than she was just a moment ago with Maho. She raised her voice like a child throwing a tantrum. Of all the shit similes, we're talking about major memory warfare and we're compared it to a child throwing a tantrum. Writers, what the fuck are you thinking? How about someone having a major panic attack or an anxiety? You know what I mean? A fucking child having a tantrum. That's what you compare this to? Fuck off.
だって私にとっては私の記憶でしかないんだもん。
To me, these are all my memories!
マユリママたちとの記憶も子供の頃のパパとの記憶もアメリカの大学での出来事も全部私の中にあるんだもん。
My memories of Mommy with Yuri, and my memories of my dad when I was a kid, and then my memories of the college in America are all inside me!
どれが本当でどれか嘘かなんて私わかんないよ。
I don't know which are real and which are fake!
Her words turned to sobs. I could understand how she felt. From her perspective, it was all real. None of it was fake. It was easy to tell her to get a hold of herself, but it wasn't that easy for her to actually do it. I remember what Kurisu had said when she'd finished the time leak machine. She'd said you could never put your memories inside someone else's mind. It would destroy their personality. But if... just if we believe Kagari like this, what would happen? Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that question. I don't like that question at all. There was a chance that her own memories would disappear and only Kurisu's would remain. If that happened, who would the person in front of me become? Would they be Kagari? Or would it be Kurisu? If it was Kurisu... That wasn't true. It was impossible. I couldn't even think about it. But the more I fought, the more I felt a horrible idea tugging at my mind. No matter how much I tried to ignore it.
私どうしたらいいの？助けて。ママ、パパ。
Tell me, what am I supposed to do? Save me, Mommy! Daddy!
It would have been great if Mayuri was around. But unfortunately, both she and Lukaku had gone to school.
Both of them were worried about Kagari, and had told me to contact them if anything came up. But that didn't mean I could rely on them all the time.
かがりたん、ちょっと気分転換に散歩でもしてきたらどう？
Kagari-san, why not go for a walk to get your mind off things?
そうね。人間じっとしてると余計なこと考えちゃうものよ。少しくらい体を動かした方がいいかもしれないわね。
That's right. Humans have a tendency to overthink things when they're sitting still. It might be better to move around a little. Okay.
というわけでオカリン、かがりたんを頼んだ。
Alright, Ocarine, take care of
分か
Kagari-san.
った。
Okay. The two of us walked out to Central Street together. We didn't really have anything to do. The air outside must have made her feel a little better, because Kagari was starting to calm down.
そのどこか行きたいところあるかな？
So, is there some place you'd like to go?
どこでもいいの？
Can I go anywhere I want to?
ああ、君の行きたいところでいい。
Yeah, anywhere you want.
それじゃあクリスさんと行ったところに連れてってほしい。
Oh, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna take her to the radio building? Is he gonna be enough of a dick to take her to the place where the memories in her head died? Is he gonna be dumb enough?
Then take me somewhere you went with Kurisu. What?
オカリンさんがクリスさんと歩いたことのある場所に連れて行って。
Take me someplace you went with Kurisu. Ocarine.
Somewhere I've been with Kurisu. Where could that be? The coin laundry in the neighborhood? Horan Park? Gyudon Sambo. I hadn't spent a lot of time with her at fun or romantic places. I'd spent a lot of time with her, but most of it disappeared into many different world lines. I'd gone through that time and time again, but most of it had been spent arguing and working with her at the lab. We never spent any time going to places to have fun, and we'd never made it to Aomori either.
オカリンさんがクリスさんと初めて会ったのはどこ？
Where did you first meet Kurisu?
Ocarine. Well, she's opened the door. Is he going to walk through it?
初めて会った場所。
Where we first met.
私そこに行きたい。
That's where I want to go.
The place where Kurisu and I had met. It was...
ここが？
Is this it?
Yep, he's walked through the door. He's done it. Oh dear. This could get very, 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 very awkward. I'm trying to think of a save I can overwrite. I might have to use one of the other ones, which is annoying. I did make a choice on that one. I'm going to use that one. A brightly coloured building in front of Akihabara Station. The radio building. This was where it started. Yes, this is where everything had begun. On that day, the time machine appeared on the roof of the building. It was just after that when I met Kurisu. I could still remember it. The challenging look in her eyes. Thinking back, I may have already fallen in love with her then. But even though this was the place I'd met her, this was also the place where I'd...
オカリンさん、どうしたの？
Ocarine, what's wrong?
すまない。
Sorry. Lately I've been so busy with Kagari that I'd started to think I was getting a little better. but maybe I wasn't.
汗すごい。ごめん。もしかして私のせい？
You're really sweating. I'm sorry. Is this my fault?
いや、そうじゃないんだ。ただ、
No, that's not it. It's just... Whenever I came here, I couldn't help but remember what happened that day. But
行こう。
let's go.
いいの？具合悪いんでしょ？
You're sure? You're not feeling good, are you?
大丈夫だ。
I'm fine. I couldn't just stand out here forever. I couldn't keep Miyuri, Daru, and the others worrying forever. If I needed to get over at some point, then...
わかった。それじゃ、行こう。
Alright, let's go.
Something soft touched my hand. Kagari was holding it tightly in hers.
ありがとう。
Thank you. Kagari led me down the bustling street toward the radio building. My knees felt like they were about to give out at any second. Even after I'd gone inside, I was still doing better than I thought I would. But I still didn't feel like climbing the stairs where it had happened. We took the elevator to the roof. Faris, aka Aki Harumiho, had carefully locked the door to the roof so that no one who wasn't authorized could enter. I'd been given a key too, but today was the first time I was able to use it. The first thing I saw after coming onto the roof was a strangely shaped object. The time machine.
懐かしい。これ。私、これに乗ってきたんだよ。
Wow, I remember this. I came here in this thing.
Kagari happily ran up to the time machine. It was right after she'd separated from Suzuha that she'd lost her memories. She remembered going from the future to this place in 1975.
初めてこのビルの上に降りた時にね、お空がすっごく綺麗でびっくりしたの。
The first time I came out here, I was amazed at how pretty the sky was.
Unfortunately, it wasn't very pretty right now. But Kagari spoke as if there was an endless blue sky stretching out in front of us.
私、ママと別れるのが嫌で、ずっとこのマシンの中で泣いてた。ママに会いたいよって。
I didn't want to leave Mommy, so I stayed inside the machine and cried. I missed her so much.
そんなことじゃダメだ。いつまでも泣くんじゃないって、鈴葉お姉ちゃんに言われて、それでも悲しくて。
But Suzuha told me I had to stop crying, and I couldn't be like that anymore. But I was still so sad.
そんな時に開いたハッチの外に見えたのが青い空だったの。
And then the hatch opened, and I saw the blue sky.
2036年の空は青くないのか？
The sky in 2036 isn't blue?
戦争の影響でね、ずっと黒くて暗い空。それに外にもなかなか出してもらえないし。
Yeah, the war made it all black and dark, and they wouldn't let me go outside very much.
The mid-70s were right after the big economic growth spurt. Ecological concerns were as important as they are now. That was also when air pollution was a really big deal. The air probably wasn't as clean as it is now. If it seemed beautiful to her anyway, that must have meant the air in the future was really terrible.
オカリンさんはここでクリスさんと初めて会ったの？
Okabe, is this where you first met Karisu?
いや、ここじゃない。ここは。
No, this isn't it. This is...
Huh?
A cold drop hit my nose. And then the rains have opened.
It started to rain.
そうだな。
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
岡部か。
Okabe,
生きてたか。
You're alive.
そっか。ここだとあんたと会っちゃう可能性があること忘れてた。
Right. I forgot I might run into you here.
何をしていたんだ？
What were you doing?
考え事。
Thinking.
そうか。
Oh. The rain had been falling then, too. When she'd learned that either she or Mayuri was fated to die, she'd come here and looked up at the sky like this. Ah!
すごい降ってきたよ。オカリンさん、中に。
It's really pouring! Okabe, get inside!
オカリンさん。
Okabe?
What had she been thinking then? When she'd entrusted her fate to another person, to me,
オカリンさんたら、このままじゃ風邪ひいちゃうよ。早くこっちに。
Okabe, you're going to catch a cold! Hurry!
is she gonna like take her jacket off and is gonna fix it for him again, like was done by Karisu, I wonder. Kagari dragged me inside, away from the noise of the falling rain. A few moments later I found myself sitting there. The place was being renovated, and none of the stores were open. The lights were off, too, and it made the place seem very gloomy.
びっくり。
Wow, that really surprised me.
That day, after the rain, Karisu and I leaned up against each other and talked. And this was also the place
ここ
where...
だよ。
This is it.
Huh?
ここが俺とクリスが初めて会った場所だ。
This is where I first met Karisu. Strictly speaking, this is where I'd first met her in the Beta World line. That day, half a year ago.
さっき私に何を言おうとしたんですか？
What were you trying to tell me earlier?
さっきとはいつのことだ？
What are you talking about?
ほんの15分くらい前、会見が始まる前に。
About 15 minutes ago, before the conference started.
私に何か言おうとしましたよね。すごく悲しそうな顔をして。
You were trying to tell me something, right? You look really sad.
まるで今にも泣き出しそうで、それにすごく辛そうでした。
You look like you're about to start crying any second.
どうして？私、前にあなたと会ったことありますか？
Why? Have we met before? Thinking back, that was the beginning of everything. I wished I'd never met her. If only I'd have known this would be the result. If I'd never met her, I wouldn't have to feel this way.
オカリンさん。
Okabe.
I felt something soft touch my face.
コゴリ。
Kagari. Oh, wow, that's a really depressed look, isn't it? Look at that. He really is like at the bottom of the pit here, isn't he, people?
私が怖がっていると、ママがよくこうしてくれたの。
Mommy used to do this whenever I was scared.
どうして？
Why?
だってオカリンさんすごく辛そうで、今にも泣き出しそうなんだもん。
You look like you're about to start crying any second. Kagari patted me on the head again and again, as if I were a child.
あいつとクリスと初めて会ったのはここだった。
This is where I first met Karisu.
ここってこの踊り場？
Here, on the landing.
最初の印象は最悪。初めて会ったっていうのに上から目線だわ、睨みつけてくるわで可愛さのかけらもなかった。
Yeah. She left a terrible first impression. The first time she met me, she was arrogant and spent a lot of time glaring at me. Not cute at all.
もっとも向こうだってそう思ってただろうけどな。
Of course, she probably felt the same way about me. After all, at the time I was rambling about nonsense like organization
で
agents.
もそれでもクリスさんはオカリンさんにとって大切な人になった。
But she still ended up being someone you cared about.
That's right. That was in the Alpha World line, though. Right after I'd met Karisu in this one, she'd...
私の顔ってクリスさんによく似てるんだよね。
My face looks a lot like Makise's, doesn't it?
どうしてそれを？
How did you know?
真帆さんから聞いたの。
Maho told me.
それでネットで調べてみたんだけど、自分でもびっくりするくらい似てた。
And so I looked it up on the internet, and I was amazed.
そんな人の記憶が私の中にあるなんて、それも運命なのかなって。
Maybe it's fate that her memories are inside me.
Fate. It always was. Fate laughed at us. It toyed with us.
ねえ、もしも
Hey, just hypothetically.
A drop of rain rang down Kagari's hair and hit the floor.
もしもね、椎名かがりの記憶がなくなって完全にクリスさんの記憶に入れ替わるとしたら、
If I were to lose my memories of Shina Kagari, and they were all replaced with the memories of Makise Kurisu,
そしたら私は牧瀬クリスになっちゃうのかな。
would I turn into Makise Kurisu?
そう簡単にいくものじゃないよ。
It's not that simple.
でももしもだよ、もしもそうなるならオカリンさんは嬉しい？
But what if it were? If that happened, would you be happy?
私がクリスさんになったらオカリンさんは嬉しい？
If I became Kurisu, would it make you happy?
It was the voice of the demon I tried so many times to ignore.
俺は
I didn't want that. Or did I?
でも私はやっぱり嫌だな。
But I wouldn't like that though.
Another drop of rain struck the floor.
このまま自分がどうやって生きてきたのかもわからないまま、誰からも必要とされないまま消えちゃうなんて。
I don't want to disappear. Not knowing why I was ever alive. Not being of any use to anybody.
かがり。
Kagari.
私どうなっちゃうのかな。私は
What's going to happen to me? I...
Kagari was shaking a little. It wasn't just because of the cold.
I'm sorry.
いや、
No. I never did figure out what she was
こ
apologizing
のままじゃ
for.
風邪をひく。そろそろ帰ろう。
You're going to catch a cold. Let's go home.
Yeah.
とにかく上がってください。
Just come in.
And well, on that rather depressing note, we have a hang in the air here as to whether they know exactly which way they want to go, because it seems that they're all entertaining the question of what happens if the memories are overwritten. And we're going to pick this up in the new year. We're going to be back on the 2nd of January is when I'm probably going to be streaming for this particular game. However, there is an outside chance that on New Year's Eve I might be doing a different kind of stream, but I can't say much more yet because I'm still awaiting some confirmation and some testing. It'd be a one-off, something a bit different. That might be happening on New Year's Eve for an unspecified time, so you probably won't see that in the schedule. It might just randomly appear live. But for this series, we're going to be back on the 2nd of January. So, if I'm not about on New Year's Eve, I want to wish you all a very happy New Year with the heaviest amounts of wood tapping in the world. And we will be back to see exactly what's going on with Steins Gate 0 on the 2nd. Until then, thank you all very, very, very much for watching. And good night.